Yeah, it's our
System
game,
Shock.
isn't it?
All right. Well, so I chose the System Shock remake, which is a 2023 remake of the original game that was released in 1994. This game was developed by Night Dive Studios, who, as far as I can tell, pretty much just remake, remaster, port games and not much else. They do have a couple original games, but I didn't actually look into them because the titles, well, just look them up. The original developer of the 1992 game was Looking Glass Studios, who made a shit ton of fucking 90s classics like System Shock, System Shock 2, Thief, and a game that's not really talked about very much, but is of utmost importance, which is Ultima Underworld. So I actually played this game when I was a young kid. Before my family even had a computer, I'd go over to my buddy Doug's house, and he had a copy of fucking Duke Nukem 3D and System Shock. And so, as a kid, I spent a lot of time over at his house just playing those two games over and over and over again. So, um, even though I'm fairly familiar with the original, I hadn't played it in shit 20 years at least. So it seemed like an appropriate game to pick, just given its place in like the annals of fucking video game lore. Plus, I didn't think you guys had played either this or System Shock 2. And even though I hold its little brother in much higher esteem, which I think most people do, I still wanted to revisit this game to kind of freshen up my perspective and to get your guys' take on this game as well. So, that's System Shock.
Thomas, since you're, I assume you're the only one of us that's played System Shock 2. I'm kind of curious.
I've technically played it.
10 minutes doesn't
Okay.
count.
Continue.
Um, are the like derivatives of this game, like Prey, quote unquote Bioshock, etc., the other immersive sims, are they more inspired by this game or by System Shock 2, or is it pretty much the same?
I would say so. It's that's kind of a tricky question because you can't have System Shock 2 without System Shock 1, but I would say by and large, a game like Deus Ex um, was probably more so inspired by System Shock 2, even though I think they were released around the same time. I'd actually have to double check myself on that. But like what System Shock 2 did was it dialed back some of the like doominess of the game. Like I mean, especially in like security, right? That's literally just a fucking Doom FPS level. And System Shock 2 scales that back and adds in a bunch of like RPG elements into the mix, and it really tightens up the narrative, which is a big problem in this game. Um, so I guess long story short, probably more so System Shock 2 than System Shock 1, but I mean they share the same bones, so
So for that's interesting. For everyone else, I think there's going to be a bit of overlap with what we talk about with the questions that Thomas has for us. So I think just like in general, if we kind of zoom through the sections, I think that's fine because I think there's going to be a lot of meat from the questions Thomas had. But the question that I'm sure everyone would be thinking before Thomas recommended this: how well has this game held up to you guys after 30 goddamn years?
I guess it's hard to say because it's a remake and I didn't play the original. I thought it played pretty well considering it's an Unreal Engine game.
Yeah, I
so
do.
one
I do
one
mean like mostly in gameplay, which I assume is mostly the
Oh,
same.
so I will say, like, before you guys like answer this, is that some of the like criticism that's levied at this game is that it stays too faithful to the original game. So, like, this is actually an extremely, extremely faithful remake, even down to the stuff that kind of sucks.
really? Because I mean, I didn't play the original, but I saw like screenshots and footage of it, and I thought that game played a little
The
bit differently. Where like the way you aimed was different
Yeah,
and stuff like
so
that.
yeah, the major difference is definitely in UI and the fact that this game has mouse look, which the original was just like WASD with tank controls, like the original Doom was. So I mean, they modernized like the UI and like the actual control scheme, but pretty much everything else is the exact same. Combat is a little bit modernized, but not so much that it feels completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I watched like maybe 40-ish minutes, like just skipping around of like what the original was, and I think that there's a shitload of things that they did in terms of quality of life, but still kept it retro feeling. Was the vibe that they went for, including like how the game looks, right? Because the game kind of looks like shit, but that's kind of the point. Like it's very like
I
minimalized textures to make it to give it like a retro feel.
I don't know if it really had to look as shitty as it does.
I mean,
I
That
feel
that's
like
that
intentional.
was that was something that very much stood out. Like there's so much of this game. We're kind of jumping over to the visual stuff a little early,
Yeah.
but like those textures did stand out significantly
Yeah.
compared to how good a lot
so
of the rest of it looked.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about that a little later. Let's keep it on rails for now because I know we got
yeah.
stuff to say about that because I do too. But like, so as far as like the game just holistically overall, I mean, just from a baseline, just looking at our little framework, like what works for you guys, what doesn't work, like what'd you like, what'd you dislike, gameplay wise.
I mean, I
I
can start.
yeah,
The
you can
only
start.
so for the things that I liked, I mean, I liked the cyberspace combat much more than the actual game combat. The only thing that was annoying was I think the green enemies were fucking ridiculous, and it was like a little discombobulating. But I thought that was cool, especially when looking back at the original, because the original, like those sections look
Oh yeah.
ridiculous compared to what they made them into. So I
I
like that part.
I didn't look at what the vanilla hacking looked like. What
It's so
was it
fucked
like?
up. It looks like what's that game, Defender or whatever? It's just like lines. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
like yeah, the walls are just lines and the enemies are just like squares basically.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
actually, an interesting thing about the original, and this is going off memory, so this might be wrong, but you could actually skip a lot of like the combat in the original. Like the original actually gave you like pathways around all of like the
Yeah.
waves of enemies and shit.
You can kind of do that in remake. Like there's some sections where you can skip a shitload of it, but they eventually will stop you and make you kill things to progress.
Yeah, it is funny to me that that's on your list of pros because I think outside of like some of the like just really kind of aged mechanics that kind of show their ass a little bit, my least favorite part of this game was the cyberspace stuff for sure. Like I almost just said fuck it. I know how this game ends when I got to the cyberspace part in executive because I died so many fucking times.
Well, that's funny.
I can't relate to that because I played on journalist mode
Yeah,
and I didn't really come close to dying ever in cyberspace. So like I don't even know what that feels like, but I
I,
imagine that's frustrating because I know that when you die, you have to start over.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, like on my side, luckily that didn't happen to me very much either. But I'm kind of with Sesh. Like I actively looked forward to doing them every time I found one.
The only thing I
So
don't like is like the lack of a map, and you can get turned around sometimes. But like they designed it well enough where once you kind of understand the flow of the levels, you don't really go the wrong way. But
there's
it's confusing.
there's one exception. That last one, I don't know if we want to like get into it later, but the last one, the way
You mean
it was
the one where you
designed.
play like the final boss, or you mean the last?
No,
Okay,
sorry, not when I say last one, I don't mean the final boss. I mean the one
yeah, the
that
one with the
has
4 ways that
four.
you have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Um,
that one overstays its welcome big
I,
time.
I,
you could skip by everything in that one.
my problem with it was like I didn't know what counted as a success. So
Sure.
like, because I exited prematurely without
Yeah.
doing all four, so I didn't know if I had to go in and do all four in one session.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah,
So
that's
My issue was similar. After I'd done the four, I didn't know if there was a fifth.
right. That's what I think that they fucked up like really badly on gameplay wise for the cyberspace is not telling you that you completed it. Like you shouldn't be able to go back in if you did everything. Like what there's literally no upside to going back into a cyberspace thing other than you're just playing the cyberspace minigame.
Do the little like power ups respawn? Like the decoys and stuff?
I don't think so,
I
but
don't
they
think
might.
so. No, only the enemies respawn, and
Yeah.
that's it. And the healing power ups.
I will say more broadly though, like I was shocked at how few systems still worked like perfectly. Like there was nothing that truly stood out as actively bad in this game. Even the like inventory system and
Yeah.
salvaging or vaporizing or whatever, like all of it, I felt worked pretty well.
I get
Functionally, yeah, but the amount of space you're given, I feel
Yeah,
is a
that's
little rough.
that's 2 thumbs down. And I think that's kind of the one thing that's a big thing that they worked on in this game because like the inventory system in the original game looks fucking
Yeah.
miserable.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
can
bad.
so the plus side of the original is that and this actually drove me crazy in the remake. In the original, you can carry every gun around. Like you
Right.
don't have to fucking like juggle
Yeah.
every time you find a new gun, which is great. But actually interfacing and
Yeah.
interacting with the UI is a fucking nightmare. Because like the whole game is in the UI. Literally the entire game is in the UI. Like if you come up to one of the like plug puzzles, like it goes into the bottom left of your screen. If you are trying to switch weapons, that's in the bottom middle of your screen. So
Mhm.
like, literally the entire game is on the UI. So it is a mess.
Yeah, I think they changed it a little bit for Enhanced Edition, and that you can play it like a more traditional game, and then you can bring that UI in while you're playing with a button or something. Like there's like a toggle full screen button, but in the original, it was a nightmare.
I think like the inventory space stuff, I would have been like I'm kind of like middling on it overall. I think it would have been like exactly where it needed to be if the little cargo elevator thing had like double the
Yeah,
amount of space.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't
Yes.
understand.
Yeah. Like something needed more space. Probably the cargo thing more than anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, I put like one weapon in there, and I'm like, oh,
yep.
okay, I guess that's it.
Like I think they expect you to literally use like the storage around the levels.
I used the floor in front of the cargo.
Yeah, shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that part's fine, but it's still like I basically what Tom said and they did in the original. Like, I wish the weapons at least had their own slots, and then just make the
Yeah.
inventory smaller.
Yeah, that's the part that drives me crazy because like when the game really starts leaning into combat, like towards the end
Yeah.
of well, just really all of Executive, I guess, you get so many new weapons.
Yep.
Like in the sequence of Executive to Security to Bridge, and you just there's just no way. There's just
Yeah.
simply no way that you're gonna hold all that because you haven't been picking up all the ammo, presumably, and yeah, I don't know. The inventory was a big minus
Yeah.
for me.
I agree with that. I think they definitely made it better from the original, but I think it still has like big issues.
I kind of like the idea that it takes up space in your inventory because it kind of leans into the immersive part, and I kind of like that kind of stuff that
Yeah,
people generally don't like encumbrance and stuff. But it
Okay,
has
we
to be
gotta get.
done in a specific way.
it
And
is like. Sorry.
I no, sorry, I had like
A epiphany.
a high wave, and I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, because like I guess the weird part for me is that like again I didn't hate that it took up space in the inventory. I was fine with it, but it's kind of overlapping with what they're already doing to do what it's trying to do. Because the reason it takes up space is because they want to incentivize you using your other weapons, add the immersive quality to it. But you're already incentivized to use your other weapons from a million other different ways, like the limited ammunition, especially early on, from like energy weapons. I don't know. It didn't feel necessary, so I'm surprised they did it. But I
I,
thought I was still okay with it at the end.
I mean, I feel like they decentivized you by using all the weapons because of how good the energy weapons are and the abundance of energy
Yeah.
ammo. Because it's the only infinite source of anything in the game, right? Everything else is like limited, be it like the
Uh,
vending machines or anything. So like you just shoot, you go to a floor, you shoot four things with the early game, you shoot four things with the taser, you go back and find the energy station. Late game, you just laser rape your everything with the bullet shield, and then you just don't ever
Yeah.
die.
That's true.
I wish that it was more balanced to
I
give
do
you
too.
like
Yeah, I think
I
if the
would
laser
yeah.
rapier wasn't so strong, it would be a very different story.
No, and the reason why I say this is because in the latter half of the game, I primarily only used like stuff like the assault rifle, but my experience is not what everyone else's is because this is like full disclosure. I feel like I should say this because it's gonna color everything that I say about this game after a certain point. But that first boss, Cortex Reaver, I had to turn on God mode to beat it, and so there's like a built-in cheats menu that the developers put in. I use that, and then I turned it off after that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep just playing the game normally, kind of like a pseudo survival horror. And then I got to one. it was I think one of the groves where like the entire place was toxified,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beta
and
Grove.
yeah, and that at that point I was like I I went back and I just turned on God mode and I was like I'm not going to beat the game. Otherwise I'm not like I know what I have to do to proceed. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Sure.
that is, in my opinion, the single hardest part of the game, I think. In a game that is also like very fucking hard. Like this game is not easy.
You mean Beta Grove, right?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny because I fucking love Beta Grove, but only because I realized how impossible it was, and I was like, okay, I'm literally just speed running through here. I'm
Yeah.
running to those 2 spots I need to and getting the fuck out. I felt like
Yeah.
that's what they intended.
It is what they intend. They intend for you to hold W through that whole thing and try to find a shortcut to the safety controls.
I did not have that experience. I laser rapiered the shit out of everything. Once I got that weapon, the game became trivial.
And the enemies are not the problem there.
You just use the
Detox.
shit, right?
Yeah, I mean you use everything that
pack
you have
thing.
available to you, but the shit still hurts.
I don't think it does because you have the suit by then, right? I'm pretty sure I had the suit.
Level
You
You
still have,
only
like,
have level 1,
15.
you do not have level 2.
Yeah, or maybe you do, and I just didn't get it by then. But yeah, I definitely had level 1 suit.
Yeah,
Even with
I've,
Detox and the suit, you're still like got to kind of hustle.
I had so much. I never had like healing item problems or anything either because I was constantly going back to the health thing whenever it was convenient. So I always had at least 10 of the augments and 6 health packs for the whole game until the very end.
Well, something related to Ben's God mode experience. How did you guys feel about like how exactly this game did death with the like respawning after you know what I mean? Like just respawning
Yeah.
at the thing with half health.
I like it, and I wish I had known from the jump that it did that. I would have accepted death like way earlier. I
Oh
like
yeah,
it when
because that
games do that.
completely changed how I approached like everything once I realized how trivial death was.
I just like things that disincentivize safe scumming, because like I'm a serial safe scummer that's trying to wean it off because it really does ruin games. Like it ruins like everything.
I mean, I feel like this game's designed around that though. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think if you want to make it so it's not like that, you just make it like it's Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night, and you have like the health places all over the place, and then you just can't save if you're not at a health place. Like one per floor at least, maybe not, maybe 2 per floor even. So they
Yes.
designed it to be save loaded.
Yeah, I actually fucking love it. The whole medical bay mechanic because like in my opinion, this game is like a fucking king of diegesis, and that mechanic is like part and parcel, like a big justification for that. So I really like the way that it fits in the world. The one thing that kind of drives me crazy about it is that I wish it was more like upfront and obvious when it was turned off, like when you weren't gonna respawn. Because there are a couple times like, and I mean, looking back on them now, it's pretty obvious. But there's a couple times where you die and you're like, all right, it's time to Tom Cruise this shit. But oh no, that's an actual game over screen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
granted, you don't die in this game very much, honestly, so it wasn't a huge deal.
Oh no, I played it on journalist mode, and I feel like if I didn't, I would have died a fuck ton and not have beaten the game.
So here's the thing that I guess maybe you guys didn't figure out. Well, laser rapier, that's number one. That's like the easy mode version of the game. Number two is the peek button. Literally every enemy in the game is Pringles to uh, step around a corner, let them shoot at you, peek around the corner after they're done shooting, and blah 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 blah, and then they die. The
Oh,
AI in the game is very bad.
I
Yeah.
never used it once. Like the first time I used it, so I played on a controller, and the way that you turn it on is it's the same as the sprint button, which is clicking in the left stick. The first time I did it, I thought I broke the game. I because it like freezes you in place. So when you move the left stick around, you're just like peeking in
That's
all
gross.
directions. I thought I broke the game, so I like
That's funny.
uninstalled it and reinstalled it.
That's fucked up. That's such a weird way to do it instead of just putting it on like bumpers or something.
Yeah, so I never used the peak. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I never like I knew it was there, but I thought it was always clunky. I just did it like circle strafe around corners basically. Like most enemies only shoot like 6 times or 3 times, and then you just peek, shoot them twice, hide, wait, and I didn't need to
Yep.
use the peek.
Yeah, corners are the
Yeah.
way to like never even have to think about
That-
combat.
I
in
think
this
that's a
game.
big downside of the game because
Yeah, no, it
it's like
is.
it's super
Yeah.
boring because like you're not
Yeah.
dodging it like because they always it's hit scan and they always hit you. If you're peeking, they cannot miss basically. So it's like
Well,
yeah,
the thing about like
But
games like this is it's not necessarily about like the difficulty, but it's more about like the rationing of your resources for your survival over time.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when you get into the end of the game where, like, everything just drops infinite ammo, i.e., in security, then you're left without that, like, scarcity challenge and you're
yeah,
just left with the boring combat, which is definitely what this game is. Like, to me, what this game really lacks is some kind of, like, punchiness to the combat. Like,
yeah.
I don't feel it when I laser sword something. I don't feel it when I fucking shoot a flaming shotgun shell into a fucking alpha particle or whatever it's called.
Oh, you mean like the feed, like the actual like visceral feedback?
Yeah, the actual the feedback of it all. Like there's no sound effects, there's no nothing.
Yeah, so I feel like that's something that they actually leaned into like being faithful to the original, I
The
guess.
No,
original
no.
looks terrible, man.
The original has impeccable ass fucking audio design.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
I don't mean audio. I guess I mean visual, where it's just like kind of objects colliding. You know what
watching
I
the
mean?
melee in the original looks so fucked up.
Oh yeah,
It's
the melee in the original is even better because the range is like
yeah,
absurd.
it's so fucking far away.
What do you guys think of the uh, map design, just like holistically?
You
I
mean like the
loved it.
map is in the UI map or like the levels?
The just the
Oh, that's a
like
good point.
the level design.
Okay.
Because I love the interconnectedness. Obviously, I didn't
yeah,
like the way it looked, but I like the way it was laid out, especially like the whole like everything's like a Metroidvania cube essentially. So it's just like really easy to like understand like kind of where you needed to go.
Yeah.
there were a couple of standouts for me in terms of how they were designed for sure that I might get into later, but I felt outside of the standout ones that they were pretty samey. But like generally, the interconnectedness was very good.
You felt like they were
Yeah,
samey, really?
I
A
didn't.
couple of them outside of the few that I liked.
Maybe the first stories are samey, but like
Yeah.
I remember maybe like I don't remember where this was. I think this is like later on in the game, but I remember seeing like this whole like ventilation system like kind of like up in the ceiling that I was never able to get into, and I beat the game and I never went into wherever that was like ever.
It might have been to like one of the hidden skulls if you found any of
Oh,
those.
maybe. Yeah, I found a bunch of those, but not all of them, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean I pretty much agree with Ben there that I feel like maybe the medical and research feel kind of samey. But I feel like once you get past research, everything has its own kind of like I don't know, soup du jour.
I think the top three floors feel pretty samey, especially bridge. Bridge didn't feel very standouty.
Yeah, Bridge I think is maybe it's just so anticlimactic
Oh,
after
it for sure is.
what gets you there. So I do agree with that, but I don't think Bridge feels samey is a thing. Like it's got some
No,
like
it's just kind of
weird.
boring.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst uh floor in my opinion, but
Oh, I give it some slack because it's just meant to be, you know,
the
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 end.
ending.
end of the but the end of it should be the cool part. That's where all the resources should go into, or at least I think so.
Well, I mean, it has to look the same as the rest of the game, which unfortunately is the rest of the game.
I mean, it could be like tainted green, right? You could have like like a destroyed thing from just
Yeah,
Shodan going ape shit. Like they could have done something.
yeah, they could have like they could have done a lot of different colors. That's like just the whole visual discussion on its
Yeah.
own.
I don't think I have anything. I mean, I guess I, yeah, I think we kind of already talked about it. But did you guys get like the plasma cannon or whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, I did.
It's like the
Yeah.
worst gun in the
It's
game.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I googled it and I used it because yeah, it does suck because basically it's just the same thing as the laser rapier, but it takes more energy.
And you can kill yourself with it very
Oh
easily
yeah,
in a
that
fucking
Yeah.
that too.
corridor.
Yeah.
That was the most fun. I tried using it twice, and both times it killed me, and I was like, never again. And I just dropped the gun.
Oh, I guess I never did die to it because I had God mode on. But
No,
I
it
can
kills
see
you in
why it
one
would
shot.
happen.
Full health, you just die, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but even with God mode, I still prefer the rapier.
Yeah.
It was just easier.
I don't know if it's. I can't remember if it's actually required to beat the game or not. But how did you guys feel about some of the like super gameplay improving power ups being missable, specifically the boots?
You can miss those.
Were the boots missable?
so.
I thought there
Can
was
you
a
finish the game without 'em?
section. I thought there was a section towards the end. Ah, fuck! I wish I could remember where I like
I
mentally noted. I was like, "Oh, you need the boots to get past
yeah,
this point."
that's what I was thinking because about like those areas of the game where I saw that I never got to, because there were so many areas where like I just held spacebar and I just flew to like
Yeah.
Timbuktu to like get to the objective, and I was like, I know you're not supposed to do this, but the game lets me, so I'm just gonna fly there with my fucking flying boots.
Yeah, now I'm wondering if like I just like what I thought was something that required the boosty boots if I was just like sequence breaking. That's
I
not really the right
I
word.
think I
But
agree
Even
with Seth though. I think the boots might be optional. It feels like they are.
even if they're not optional, like let's say you just happen to not find them up until that point, and you're just base sprinting up until that point. How do you guys feel about that?
That'd be kind of horrible.
It's like it can happen.
I mean, I
I
didn't
mean,
realize how much fun it was to just run around with the sprint boots on until like almost the end of the game. Like it's such a better way to use the
Oh my
laser
God.
rapier. Like I think
Oh, yeah.
around like engineering is when I was like, wait a second, just keep these on. Because at first I
Oh,
thought it
yeah.
was like La Mulana 2, like the fucking conch shell thing where you run and it's like really cumbersome to use. So I didn't just always keep them on. But then when I realized like, wait a second, this is actually good, then I was just ice skating, killing everything.
Yep, that's literally what I
Yeah,
was
it
gonna
was
say.
great.
As soon as you can put on the ice skates with the laser rapier, the game's over.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like kind of the crux of my question is like if something improves the gameplay that much, should it be? And it's not like super tucked to the side, but like someone who's not exploring as thoroughly might not find it for a while. And is that still okay?
Yeah, I
I
think it's
mean, yeah.
okay because I feel like that isn't the intended way to play the game, so I think it's fine for it to be kind of hidden.
Yeah, I think it. I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine. I think having multiple paths for success is always a good thing. And if easier success is just tucked behind like loot that's kind of obfuscated, I don't think that that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't think it's something like the boots or the feather from La Milana, which is like your speed or your double jump or anything. I think the game seems to be designed to be beatable without it. So I think while you can meme on shit with them, I think you could still perform in the game just fine without it. So I think it's fine.
Well, did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about gameplay wise? I'm sure we'll bring up some more stuff towards the end.
Yeah, I got stuff, but it all fits more in line with the questions.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like I've been hesitant to speak in general because it's kind of all there.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like I think this might be pertinent to gameplay, but I kind of wish Shodan fucked with the gameplay a little bit more directly, because the only way she ever fucks with you really is just by spawning dudes, rather than like fucking with your controls or like things like that.
No, there was literally one
Yeah.
time,
Which
where
time?
where you
Oh yeah,
it was one of the antennas where
Yeah, she
she
puts up
traps
Oh,
you,
laser
right,
beam.
right, right. Yeah,
and
things like
if
that.
you basically if you don't have a logic probe, you die.
I didn't even know how do
man.
you how do
I'm
you
gonna
live
I'm gonna
there?
bring that. I want to talk about that more in narrative because I'm gonna have a lot to talk about
Wait,
Shodan at that point.
wait. I didn't logic probe anything. I just stood in a hallway off
You
to
can
the
just
side.
die.
Oh yeah, I think
Oh,
there was a gap where you could just
You could
stand there,
just
but I
oh,
guess I
that's
didn't
funny.
do that.
I took like 80% damage. I couldn't figure out how to take no damage. I tried it like 4 times and it was like
Oh,
fuck it.
I
It's
just
really
used
funny
logic
because
probe.
you used the logic probe. You guys somehow dodged the explosion, which I didn't even know you could do. I just died and respawned. Oh well.
That's
Oh,
good.
I didn't
I
dodge it. I
thought
just moved
that.
far enough away.
Oh, for some reason I thought those. No, I guess that isn't during the section where death is the actual death.
Nope.
So never
No,
mind.
it's before.
Once I realized you could just fucking die, it completely diffused
Yeah,
that moment.
that's funny. I wonder, yeah, how much damage did you take from that explosion, Tom?
probably about the same, like 80%.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause I literally tried to find like a safe spot, and there just never was.
Uh,
Ben's logic
for
probe seems to
me,
be what they wanted you to do.
I thought it was because it one shot me. I guess I just didn't find all like the
If you
power
stand
ups.
as far away as you can, literally against the shield, it does like 85, 90%. If as long as you have
I
full
thought
health, you
that's
don't
what I
die.
did. Like I sprinted. I
Oh
just
yeah,
held
maybe.
W and I still died. So I just thought that you needed to solve the puzzle or
Oh,
logic probe to get out of it.
interesting. I mean, I tried to solve the puzzle, and you don't have anywhere near enough time
Yeah, I tried
unless you know
literally one
the.
time.
Yeah,
The one
exactly.
time was enough to inform me that you're
Yep.
not meant to do this.
You would have to like take a screenshot, figure out what it was, and then just do the inputs extremely fast.
I really wanted to do it, but I was like, nah.
Yeah, too much time.
Yeah, I
But no,
will say though, like to your original point though, Jordan, like I do feel like I feel like I agree, but I also feel like if they did it too many times, it would get really kind of tedious. Because I feel like personally, the times where Shodan does fuck with you, like she does really fuck with you. Like there's a certain level of punchiness that if maybe that combat wasn't so fucking
yeah,
trivial, might hit harder. But like the part where she sends all the fucking exploding Roombas towards you is
that one's
pretty
funny.
fucking sweet.
Yeah, more stuff like that. More than just like, hey, put three guys in a room with me. Like I don't know, like more like puzzle solving stuff. Like put gas in a room and I have to solve the thing before I die of the gas or something. Like
I also feel like
yeah,
she should have
Oh,
had some
that
input during the cyberspace sections.
it's funny
that
because
too.
that type of puzzle would be a negative for me, but I would appreciate it being in the game. The thing about like those kind of like pressure situations, you know what I
Sure.
mean?
I don't think it needs to necessarily be pressure. I just find cool ways for her to fuck with you in a way that like she's an AI and like yeah, I don't know. Like
Oh,
you're
like
clearly have like a HUD
yeah,
and she could fuck with your HUD or
yeah.
something.
Like even at some point, like she could have just like tortured you, like Solid Snake style. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's what I'm thinking, like Metal Gear
So
2, right? Like you replace the mini map with like fucking pictures of hot babes or something. Like do shit like that.
So I will say, like that is something that is like super mega ultra addressed in the second game,
I figured.
because like, uh, I consider Shodan to be one of the greatest villains in any game of all time. But if you only played System Shock 1, you would think I was retarded.
Yeah, I was just about to say we're gonna have some words when we get
Yeah.
to I think your first question.
I mean, I
Uh,
figured she was a much better
yeah.
antagonist in 2 because 1 was just kind of like introduction and kind of
In 1, she's just a force of nature. In 2, she's an actual
yeah.
character.
Let's reserve some of that for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the question. Let's just move on to art and graphical fidelity, etc. I thought this game, especially in terms of lighting, was very, very pretty. Very
Yeah.
pretty in terms of lighting. There's a few environmental designs that I think were kind of lacking. Like there's all the like square pegboard walls that are throughout the entire goddamn space base. They got really old to look at. But how did you guys feel?
I
I
thought the
didn't.
game looks fucking awesome. I usually can't stand the like blue glossiness of Unreal Engine 4 games, but I think what offsets that for me is unlike you guys, I actually like the like low resolution texture stuff. It actually grew on me the longer the game went. Like at first when you spawn in the apartment, I was like looking around, I was like trying to get immersed in the world and I was like, what the fuck? This shit all looks fucking horrible. But the longer the game went, I feel like I kind of got it, and I don't know. I just really like the like chunky retro futurist feel with like the addition of like modern lighting and like their whole acid tech aesthetic. Just really
Yeah.
really works.
So here's the thing. I actually love the way that the game looked in general. Like I didn't mind like the pixely textures at all. I felt like it fit, especially like especially when you play later on and you see that like how consistent it is at like looking kind of like the original. But the thing that I really didn't like and the thing that soured everything for me was like the color palette. Like it was like this like
Yeah.
purple. I really hated it. I hated all the different colors you could set the UI. I wish it was just like an RGB chooser. I hated that when you put the UI like in the settings when you set it to 100% opacity, you still can't read the text and just stuff like that.
I mean
Yeah.
I like the retro look of everything. I didn't like the how the enemies like modeled looked. I think that I wanted a little more, probably like survival horror style created models, because I think that they're kind of goofy, like all
So
of
Yeah.
them.
So
Well,
I actually like that. That's actually like an important thing to me, the way the enemies look, because in my opinion, I feel like when people do remakes, like especially like Final Fantasy VII is a good basis of comparison here. I feel like when companies start doing remakes, what they end up doing is like really over engineering the appearance of the new stuff because they want to take it from look at what this looked like in 1994 and look at what we're capable of in 2023, when it's like, no, I liked the way the original shit looked. It didn't have to be like this super high resolution detailed thing. Like it's just got to be like a fucking dude with brownish looking skin. It doesn't need to be that complex. So I actually really liked the way that the enemies looked because it just felt like a proper homage to the original game.
Yeah, I just think I don't like the direction. I don't care about the fidelity so much. I don't like how goofy everything looked in a game that's not goofy.
Yeah, I think the most standout one in terms of that is definitely the the medical floor
Oh
zombie
yeah.
guys. They look very goofy compared to everything else.
oh wait, what was I just thinking of? You just distracted me with a new thought that I just remembered those fucking germ enemies. I fucking
Oh
hated
yeah.
those
Oh yeah, those
so
suck.
much.
I'd say you get the laser rapier. Those are a nightmare.
They're still annoying, but it's just like things that explode when they die are always annoying.
Oh, dude, the mechs that explode when you die, which means you can't laser rape them, was the worst shit ever. Like I hated that.
Oh, I guess at that point, I had God mode on, so it didn't bother me. But
No, it's only like
yeah.
the flying guys, and you only take like 2 bars of damage, maybe, so it's like trivial, but it's still like why, like why? Um, but yeah, like fidelity wise, I think the game looked fine. I think like what Ben said with the color palettes
Oh,
is applicable, and I think it also like looks fine regardless of that.
yeah. I'm just sorry. I remembered. I'm actually glad that the enemies looked a little goofy because if they were like actually scary, there were certain moments that I fucking freaked out. Like
Oh, me
just
too.
just out of nowhere, an enemy's like right behind me, and I'm like,
Oh
where
man,
the fuck did you come from?
there was one really bad one. I don't know if it was scripted or not, but it's at the end of like a dead end. You pick up a little voice box and you're listening to it. And I turn around and one of those running fuckers
The
slams down to me
ninjas,
with its arms. Yeah, I was
those
like,
things fucking
holy
own
shit,
for
that
that
got me.
reason.
That
They
got me
got me.
so good.
They got me in general just like 2 or 3 times, and every time they get me, I just laugh because I don't know. I love that feeling of like you get that quick
Yeah.
rush, but you're not actually in danger. I think it's
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, that was actually like a highlight moment for me because I thought even if it was scripted, it didn't feel like it first of
I don't
all,
think it
and
was because I
I
don't
don't
remember
think it
that
was either.
experience.
I think it just happened
Yeah,
to
me
see me
neither.
earlier, but yeah, really cool moment.
Also, I think the gorilla tigers are pretty close to like a what the fuck kind of survival horror enemy.
Oh yeah, true.
Like that's like the only enemy that's like holy shit when you look at it. Like a big thing for me, I guess I'd save it for, I don't know when I bring this up, but I kind of felt like the Grove sucked because Beta Grove I thought was going to be this insane, like I'm going to fight like dinosaurs and crazy shit, and then it was a toxic area, so it was like I was fully expecting to fight more things like a gorilla tiger, but like way more fucked up, and then it wasn't the case. But I guess that's a good thing for in Ben's regard because I think it would have been too intense.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I like the goofiness because it's just what they looked like in the original game, and
Sure.
I feel like it serves it well to not just like overhaul the appearance of everything in a game that stays extremely faithful to the original.
That's fine.
To speak to Session's last point, I think I would have preferred some sick boss fight over the toxified area.
Yeah. I can't. They built up Beta Grove like it was this crazy fucked up area, and then it was just the same area as Alpha and Delta Grove, except it had toxicity in it.
Yeah, a lot of people like consider executive to be their favorite floor, but I actually think executive's a little tedious.
I
Okay,
think it's just the Groves. Cut out the
Executive
Groves,
is
so
and
my
I love
favorite.
it.
I guess spoiler. Yeah, for your future question, I do say executive is my favorite, but when I think of executive, I don't
Yeah.
consider the Grove as part of executive. I think that they're just their own floor that are just like really shitty, and I kind of like don't look at them.
Here's what I think of when I think of executive. I think of the fact that after I took the teleporter in Diego's office, that For some reason, I couldn't figure out how to open the door when I went back. So every time you have to go back to Diego's office, I was crawling through the vents in the bottom corner of the fucking.
Wait, is there actually a way to keep it open?
No,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
just
there is.
it's
You
Oh
just
hit the
right.
my
I
door.
just you just
God.
right click on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that was actually the point where I stopped just death abusing because I didn't want to have to run back to engineering. That's where I started quick save reloading.
Yeah, no, you can go. That's a two-way door.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until the last time you have to go to Diego's office. I think to
That's so
release
funny.
the beta grove.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
shit
figured
was
that
annoying
out.
as hell.
I figured that out literally immediately when the door closed behind me. I was like, "Tell me I can open this again," and I couldn't. I was like, "Cool, we're cool, game."
I
Because that was
thought
gonna be annoying.
I thought I had tried, and
It
when I turned
was.
around and it didn't open, I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It was very annoying, I must say.
Oh, okay. What'd you guys think of the music? I think the music in this game fucking rules, for the record.
Loved it.
I
Yeah.
know that I liked it, but like it was like 2 weeks ago, so I can't remember anything. But at the time, I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah, the
I
music
like
in
it.
this game is awesome.
Did
I
they,
like it,
how
but
much of it? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like it, but I wish they picked like the cues to kick in the badass music better because
Mhm.
sometimes it would just come on and I'm like, "Am I in danger?"
Yeah, literally that's in my notes. So like I really like the way that the game transitions between the like ambient exploration music and the
Yep.
combat music, but only when you actually engage into combat.
Yeah.
It was like for me, what you're talking about is like I would be like just holding W and like an enemy would like catch a glimpse of my ass as like
Yep.
ice skated by, and then the music would kick in and I'd be like, not the time, dude.
And then you like
Thomas,
wait behind a
you-
corner and then they don't come and you're just like and the music stops and you're like, "Cool, sorry."
Thomas, do you know how much of it is fully remastered?
I think all of it. The original
Like,
game's like
did none of-
old midis.
Yeah, they redid
Oh,
like everything for sound and audio for sure.
Yeah, the original
Yeah,
soundtrack
I
is
thought they
also
did a great
awesome.
job with it.
The original is like a completely different vibe, but I fucking loved it when I was listening
Yeah.
to it. It's my shit. It's so
Yeah.
early '90s PC gaming. It's insane, but I loved it.
Yeah, the original executive song is a fucking slammer jammer.
Yeah, I think they did a good job, especially like the ambient stuff. I thought it was great.
How did you guys feel about the lack of UI for things that are interactable? Like almost nothing is highlighted in the environment.
Drove me crazy because in the original game, as soon as you walk into a room, you know exactly
Yeah.
what is interactable and what is not. This game has a massive, massive, massive visual clutter problem.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Especially
guess
because
if
they
that's
hide some
related.
shit.
I'm gonna guess if that's related to the original game. Like, I haven't looked at much of the gameplay for it, but I imagine everything is pretty washed, right? And so like the things that stand out much more obviously.
The biggest difference between the original and this game is that all of the junk recycling stuff is not in the original. That was added
Yeah.
in the remake.
Oh, interesting.
And,
Wait, are
and
you
that,
serious?
Yeah, and that
Actually,
shit
oh my,
that shit adds so much fucking clutter to the
That's-
like interactables.
that is the entire reason I hated the inventory. That was just entirely in the remake. In the original, you didn't
Yeah.
have to
Yep.
do any of that shit.
Yep.
That vaporized thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought this was supposed to be faithful.
I mean, that's
I
the
don't
biggest
know.
That was
deviation,
a
I
huge.
think.
It was a system that fucking affected everything, and it sucked.
Yeah. It's
Are you
super
serious?
Yeah, I
That's gonna
stopped
have to change this
interacting
review,
with
that.
it. I stopped interacting with it around the time of like honestly pretty early, like in maintenance. I was like, nah. Either I've got enough money for upgrades or I don't. Fuck it. So I did not upgrade a lot of the later stuff because I just didn't have the money.
I kept interacting with it just because I wanted to keep building credits. I got up to like 280. But there's
I
nothing
did
to spend
Go
shit
for the
on.
high score.
So yeah, I did rack up a lot, but then when I discovered that in that in-game cheat menu, there was just a button that said add credits, and then I had 4,000. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I basically stopped once I realized, like, oh, there's no money sink ever in this game. Like, I never get an infinite amount of ammo or an infinite amount of, like, anything
Yeah.
because the vending machines run out. So I was like, oh, fuck you then.
Yeah, that was why I just stopped farming all the fucking junk or whatever.
Yeah, so I posted a screenshot and basically like shit like this is what drove me fucking crazy. Like when you I don't remember whose office this is, but on the desk, like in any normal video game, you look at this and you go, "Oh, that means something that one is green." Not in this game. Literally means nothing.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
It's
remember
that's
shit
seeing
like
this
annoying.
that
too.
drives me
But
crazy.
sometimes it does. Sometimes
Exactly.
green does.
Sometimes in the fucking bullshit keyboards with that green light, you can interact with that one, but not all of like the general ones. So you have to run around on every wall just spamming E to see if something's gonna fucking interact, and it's terrible. Or right click, but yeah.
Yeah, this game has a massive visual clutter problem. Like the biggest issue that I take with this game, I
Yeah.
think, outside of some stuff we'll talk about soon.
Although I definitely agree with you guys, at the same time, I did really enjoy the feeling of like, again, going back to the space boots when I walked in that room and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" and I pick it up and it's suddenly the
Yeah.
best fucking item in the game when I thought it was just going to be junk. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
fuck." I really like that feeling, but I do agree with you guys.
I mean, I would have that same feeling if all the junk bullshit wasn't there. Because then there's a scarcity issue of when you finally find something, you're like, holy shit, rather than you're like junk, 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 holy shit. Like I think
Yeah.
it's the same thing if there's nothing there as if there's junk there.
My problem with it was that it like my eyes got fatigued by all the stupid bullshit,
Yeah.
so I didn't like see the useful bullshit. And that happened really, really early because um I had to go back. I forget the guy's name. He's got an office on research, I think, in the top right of the map somewhere. But you pick up his key card in medical, and it unlocks his office in research. And I had to like go back. I was like, I thought I picked that up, but I went back and no, I didn't pick it up because there's just so much shit in that office that my brain didn't even register that there was a fucking key card there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember the little like credit cards you can pick up in
Yeah.
executive. Like they do have a purpose. They're not
Yep.
junk, but I did get that kind of issue from those.
I thought that was badass. That was like one of the coolest part of the loot where you like get that and you're like, oh shit. Like as a kid, I think I would have loved that to just literally take money out of
Yeah.
someone's account. Like I don't know, I
Mhm.
just thought that was so cool. It was like completely inconsequential because you got like 10 credits every time, but just the fact that it's there, I thought was cool, but not worth an entire fucking junk system.
Do you guys want to jump to narrative?
Let me see what else I had in here real quick. Oh, uh, did we talk the
Uh,
UI to death, or do you guys?
I mean, I could say I thought the map was fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
The map,
So
It was a pretty bad
multi-level
map.
maps was so bad.
I will give
Yeah.
them some credit because the game didn't officially support controllers, but it still worked completely fine.
that's actually surprising to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
it surprised me.
so
Because
like,
like for example, you know like how when you want to swap between items, it's kind of like key binded to like 1 through
Yeah.
0. So obviously you don't do that on a controller, so you just use left and right on the D-pad to just like kind of scroll through that list, and it just works fine. And like
Nice.
using the map was as good it was ever gonna get with a map system like that.
yeah,
Oh,
yes.
oh,
So
super. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, as far as the UI goes, so for me, like, if we ask if the UI is immersive or confusing, the answer is absolutely both. Because like, what I really like about so I said earlier that this game is the king of diegesis, right? And the fucking UI is like the backbone of the diegetics in this game. And I think that like if I go back and think about playing this shit in 1994, with how just like completely immersive the UI is and how it makes you feel like you're a fucking hacker junkie navigating through like future retro fucking CRT interfaces, it does that so well. But when
Yeah.
I go in the media tab and I can't click shit because it doesn't fucking work, that shit makes me want to blow up Night Dive Studios.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean when I say like it functioned well in controller. Because like I'm not sure what you mean by it not working, because like just when you just D-pad over it with the controller, it just selects it, and it just
Yeah.
works.
I don't know if you guys had this problem, but I feel like literally every time I opened the media tab to go back to listen to like an audio log or something, like my clicks just didn't work and I had to navigate like with the
Yeah.
That
keywords
did
and
happen to me a
shit.
couple times. Yep.
I think I brought that up when I was first playing the game in the channel.
Yeah.
Remember, of
Oh
like my
yeah,
shit
you
doesn't work.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it only happened sometimes. Like sometimes it worked fine, and sometimes it didn't. So
Yeah, and by the point that you asked me that, I hadn't gotten the bug yet, so I was like,
yeah,
huh, I wonder if his shit's just fucked up.
yeah. No, it just. I think it's probably because of control. I don't even know honestly how that fucking happened, but it was annoying every fucking time it did.
Yeah.
Am I also going crazy? Did it open like a random floor every time you open up that tab? I swear it was
Yeah.
never on the
It
floor I was
was
on when I
Oh
opened
yeah,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I think it's memory. I think it's the one that you had open last.
No, for me
Oh, that would make sense.
it always opened up whichever floor I was on at the time.
Not me. I always had to
So
click the
I
floor
remember I would go over to that tab and I would start scrolling trying to
to
find
find
the
it.
one that
Yep.
I just picked up to like or whatever, the one on the floor that I need to listen to again. And I was scrolling and I couldn't find it. I'm like, what the
Mhm.
fuck? Where'd it go? And then I look at the left, I'm like, oh, I'm on the wrong floor.
Yep.
Oh, you're talking about the
The media
media
tab.
log. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, that shit was always fucked up. I'm sorry. I delay everything that I said in like the past minute. You guys wanted to write that shit was ass.
Yeah, and I think they taught the player onboarding for the UI is probably like the worst part. Like I think that they could have done a little bit more there. I think the manual would have helped a little bit, but like if anything needed Final Fantasy 16 whoop tutorials to just be like, hey, this is what it looks like. And the fucked up thing is the original game had this. Literally, when you fucking start a new game in the original game, it was the most over. It was one basically a controller screen of saying, "Here's all the controls on a controller." Is the first thing you show the player, but the original game still did have it of like it just showed you a label of what everything on the screen was, and then you started playing.
When you say label, do you mean like just like of all the UI elements, or
Oh
do you mean
yeah,
like of the controls?
the UI elements basically, because I
I
didn't know that
thought
you could check your email.
I thought they did flash it, but maybe like very briefly. But I
I
might be imagining it.
yeah, I don't recall it, and I was stuck at the 451 room code thing for like 5-10 minutes because I didn't know that I had an email that said the room code. So I
Oh,
was just
where?
looking around on all the screens and everything.
Yeah, so I knew that it was 451 because that's just like an immersive sim
Right.
name. But there was one part at the beginning that I got stuck at for a very, very long time.
Which one was it?
At the very beginning, so there's like the tutorial basically for you're supposed to like crouch and find like this like like kneeling door kind of, you know what I mean?
You mean
Like door.
like the vent door things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was the very first one in like the very first room, and I couldn't, I didn't know that you were supposed to like go in there to like go into that room.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
I think
shit.
that's the one thing that I think they could have benefited from a lot is just a little bit of onboarding, and it doesn't even need to be like whoop stuff. Sometimes it would just like in Ben's case, just have the door open or something the first time, so you know to go under it, and then have the next one be closed or something. Like I think they could have worked on that a little bit better for more Mega Man style rather than just like you're on your own shithead style.
Also, somewhat related to onboarding, whoever made the default key bindings in this game is a psychopath.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird
Agreed.
shit.
Even on controller, that shit was stupid. Like,
Like there's absolutely no purpose to have an ADS in this game, but the fact that it's on press middle mouse button down is like what the fuck.
It's
And the
wild.
ADS just zoomed in a little bit, like it was
I
so
think
fucked up.
there was literally one time it was useful, and that's because my eyesight's really shit. It was only useful because of like like my biology, as
It's like
opposed
test
to it
classes.
being designed to
That's
be actually
hilarious.
useful.
When
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
aiming down the sight and then leaning into your monitor to look closer. Jump over to narrative time, I guess. I think we've talked you to death. Very mixed, it sounds like.
That sounds good to me.
Uh, I have a fair amount to talk about with the narrative, I think, but I just want to ask right off the bat: were there any voice reels that really stood out to you guys as like, oh, this is like really good exposition, really good performance, whatever?
Oh yeah, a bunch. I think even though
Yeah,
Shodan
but
is a very thin villain in this game, I think her performance is fucking awesome.
yeah. So like how faithful were those to the original?
In terms of
Like everything.
the dialogue is more or less the same. There's like some changes here and there, but nothing like major. All the voice lines were re-recorded though, and like all of the like funky like SFX and shit that they do on top of her voice were changed too. So the voice recordings are very different, but the content is not.
Gotcha. So like it did play like audio and like all
Oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And I think that that's like a very important part of what like makes this game.
Yeah, and I didn't want to like actually get into that specifically because that's part of your question, in my opinion, that we'll talk about later on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have stuff to say specifically about the voice reels later with the
Yeah.
questions. Did you have any you wanted to mention, Seth?
I could save the voice reels for later. I was gonna more talk about like pacing of the game if we wanted to move on to
Okay.
that.
Yeah. So as the game progressed, I had a very, very, very strong sense of the tension of the game diffusing. And I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
hot take or not, but it felt like by design, the stakes kept getting smaller, and it felt like that was a very serious problem. Did you guys feel similarly?
Well, I think that that's true though, right? Because like the whole core of the game is like, well, you woke up Frankenstein's monster and now you have to go stop her, and then you do stop her, and then you stop her again, and then you stop her with finality. So I think in some respects, like what you're saying is, I mean, what you're saying is true, but I also think that's very like purposeful for that. Um, in a lot of different ways. And I don't know that I necessarily knock it because when you say that you feel like the stakes are lower, I assume that you mean like, well, initially she's going to blow up Earth with the mining laser, and then, well, you stop that, and now she's going to send fucking the Last of Us virus, fucking cordyceps to Earth. Well, she failed that. Now she's going to upload herself to Earth's ComNet or whatever. So
Yes, and I feel like it's a problem because you could just reverse all of that, rewrite a couple of things, and it would play out just fine with higher stakes.
So here's how I disagree. So to me, like the first two things are they're both like apocalyptic, right? Like either one of those things is going to destroy Earth. So the stakes are kind of equals, maybe. And then in the third is Shodan like trying to escape. So like she's pretty much more or less like admitted defeat, but now she's still trying to like offload herself to Earth as an escape mechanism, and which will also probably just end up being apocalyptic.
Well, that last part's not particularly true because she stops you from leaving the life pods. If she was just wanted to get away, she would let you go, and then that's a wash.
Oh wait, I wanted to ask about that. Those life pods, did they actually work?
No, Shodan literally locks you in. She goes, "You're going down in the ship with me, bitch."
Oh,
Basically, when you get in the life pod, yeah, she stops you.
okay, because I knew that like you got the code for them near the end. It was like zero zero
Yeah,
one, but I never like got back to use them, so I didn't know if that was like an alternate ending.
I thought it was because I didn't use them, but then I looked it up later because there's something weird to me with the achievement for beating the game and the achievement. There's an achievement for completing the game and one for beating Shodan, and I was like, how can you do one of these without the other? And there's like a 5% player discrepancy that has the achievement, so I still don't know how you get one without the other.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, regardless though, Seth, like where'd you want to go with that?
Cass was talking to me at the end. I'm not sure where you left
I mean,
off.
I agree with Seth though, in that I think because like typically in shit like this, the AI always gets like crazier and crazier and crazier and stronger and stronger and stronger until the end. You have this culmination of this like crazy, insane shit that you're about to face. But in this, it was the opposite. The player character outscaled Shodan by a fucking mile to the point of where she was trivial basically after you disabled the laser. Like, I felt so much stronger than her at every point, and like. She also never really kind of went into that like crazy like lost her mind psycho mode that I was expecting at the end. It was kind of just like complacency by the time you're in
Yeah,
cyberspace killing her.
yeah, and I think like that's an issue as well, and it plays into the broader part where I just at a certain point couldn't take this AI telling me that they're a god seriously because I already stopped their three biggest plans by the time you get to the end, and they just feel declawed, like literally declawed at
Yeah,
that point.
I mean, I think that that's like a big part of Shodan's character in this game, though, is that she like absolutely is just fucking a megalomaniac. Like she is
Yeah.
absolutely like 100% confident in her abilities as the god of her realm, aka Citadel. Even though it's like very obviously unearned, she like never bends on that. So I can understand like the narrative like fracture there, I guess, but I feel like her character, for better or for worse, and towards the end of the game, for worse, is like pretty much consistent in her messaging.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool in the fact of like it thinks it's this some like infallible god, but you are owning it. But I think it kind of like Seth said, just basically the stakes aren't never really there.
Yeah, it
Yes.
feels like you could have that same feeling while raising the stakes at the same time.
Yeah, like if the laser was just attacked to the bridge and she was like, I'm taking the laser with me,
Yeah,
and then you had to
exactly.
go kill her and stop the laser. I think that
Yeah,
changes
like
so much and it's a minimal narrative change.
yeah, that's what I meant when I said you could literally just reverse everything and it would be fine. Or
I think it's
like this
badass
would
though. Go ahead.
like this would be a lot more, but you could also just to like completely remove the stakes being totally removed as an issue. You could just like totally open up the game, and you could like do any of the four
Yeah.
first or whatever, and then you have like a final one. That would require like a complete restructure of the
Yeah.
game, so it wouldn't work.
I
But
think that's tough for 1994, and I think that that's too much of a deviation of a remake for them to do, but
Yeah.
that would fix it. Um, I do think it was badass though that you just like lose the game when you launch the laser yourself. I think that was cool.
It was all right.
You didn't like that? I don't know. I thought that was neat. Where
No,
she's just like, "Oh,
like
thanks."
no, it wasn't even when it happened, but like I do. I mean, it was obvious that was gonna happen, but I just I felt like there should have been more feedback. Like even though it was obvious that it was gonna happen, I felt like it should have been more obvious that it was gonna happen.
I mean, I kind of liked it because you're like, "Laser, what is this?" You press it, and then the game ends, and you're like, ah, "Okay, that makes sense." If
Yeah, cause
anything,
like
I would.
yeah, cause the reason why it's so memorable is because it was the first time I ever saw the game over screen.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's the other good one because yeah, I think that game over screen's fucking awesome.
It
I
is
wish there was
pretty
a
good.
specific one. I wish it was like a Chrono Trigger bad ending screen where like you kind of got like a little cinematic of the world blowing up and you got something kind of different that because that one felt like deserving of something separate. But I think the game over screen is badass enough that I don't mind it.
Yeah, so here's my major problem with the narrative of this game, which is not too dissimilar from what you guys are saying. In fact, it's pretty much the same, which is that, in my opinion, from executive on, maybe security on, I felt like Shodan was just getting fucking tiresome. Like, uh, yeah, you are beating her ass at every angle, and yet she is still like talking to you as if she's a fucking like the top most upvoted thing in r slash I am very smart or whatever. And the fact that she never really changes that tune, and she's just constantly just acting like a smug, like way pseudo intellectual.
Hmm.
I don't know, that shit, like the game really falls flat because of that. Not to mention the ending itself is, I mean, it's kind of a meme how shit it is, but yeah.
I feel
you
like
want to
I gotta give
know
it. Oh, sorry.
you want to know where my head was going every single time she was talking around the point you're referring to? I don't know if you guys remember the Diablo 3 campaign, but that's where my head was going every single time that she spoke. Like when you're climbing Mount Ariat and Diablo 3, and the projection of fucking Asmodon or whatever
Oh
comes
right,
in and is like, "You will never stop this next
yeah,
big boss." Okay, it's dead. I see you've killed that big
yeah.
boss, but you'll never. Like that's exactly how I felt about Shodan at those moments.
Yeah, so I guess it was a little campy in retrospect, but like I kind of have to feel. I feel like I have to give it a pass because like the game was like made in 1994, and I just
Yeah.
have to put
Hmm.
myself in the shoes of the people that made it. Like these are like fucking super nerds.
Yeah.
Like they're not
Yeah.
like they're not like writers.
So
They're just trying their
so
best. They like trying to
here's
come up with like some motivations and shit.
here's the thing too, is you have to put yourself in the shoes of a contemporary video game developer from 1994. And one of the actual levied criticisms against System Shock is that it wasn't like Doom.
Yeah.
So and think about the thinness of the plot of fucking Doom. So people wanted this game to be more Doom-like, but this game has like 1,500%
Yeah.
of the level of like plot and writing that something like Doom has. So I do think it's fair to just be like, yeah, it was 94 and the shit just wasn't that important to them. But the
Yeah.
fact that they still got what I would consider a very like memorable performance and memorable villain out of it is pretty fucking admirable.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be praising this game by the end of it, but like I still want to apply the modern lens to it. It's obviously
Yeah.
an extremely influential game.
I mean, I definitely the 2023 remake. I have a much different opinion on of the 1994 game. The 1994 game is fucking insane. The fact that this game came out in 1994, despite all the issues
Yeah.
that it has back then, is fucking insane.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and I don't know if this is like I don't know if it's like a bias or if I'm just giving it a pass because I know how insanely good of a villain she is in the second game. So like I'm kind of operating with that knowledge of just
Yeah.
how much better she is in the sequel.
It makes sense, like because it's a good origin story, right? It paints the character like really well, in that like she thought she was this like hot shit, but she got owned by some fucking like who gives a fuck hacker person, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good painting
Yeah,
for that probably makes the second game even better.
and like I said, I think like the way to think about Shodan in this game, like I said earlier, is that she isn't really a character. She's a force of nature. She's just like this overwhelming presence that permeates like every square inch of the Citadel. But she isn't really. She doesn't have an arc. Like I said, that's like the whole thing. She's
Yeah.
like the same thing from beginning to end.
For sure.
Which is a real problem if you want to have like a three-dimensional villain, which she is obviously not in this game.
Yeah, and again, I think for 1994, it was probably fucking awesome because you get the shit
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
HAL and all of that into video game space.
I actually
Yeah.
think the performances in the first game, like the actual audio log recordings, are like way better in the first game too, and they're fucking awesome.
I think they're
Oh,
both
that-
sick. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot what I was thinking about. But I thought the audio was pretty good. So that makes me kind of like curious about what they were like in the original.
I think
They're
the
very
performances
similar.
were surprisingly good, like all of them. Like no one really had like a "what the fuck is going on here" kind of performance in any of them.
Yeah, I guess it's because it was so long ago. Because I used to have my first PC was a 486, so I remember gaming on there, but I didn't remember if there was ever like voice acting. But I guess there had to have been. I just
Mm-hmm.
my brain can't like like it can't like combine these two things together, like the
I
way
mean,
those games looked and the fact that they had voice acting.
I mean, what about like fucking Wing Commander? I don't guess
Yeah.
Yeah,
when the
exactly.
first
But I
Wing
don't
Commander
remember.
game came out.
Yeah, it definitely had dialogue, but I don't remember if it had actual like voice acting or if
Oh,
it
it
was
does,
like
yeah.
fucking like Banjo Kazooie. You know what I mean?
Wing Commander? Wing Commander had like straight up like real life fucking
Yeah, but that was
Mark
starting.
Hamill.
camera cutscenes.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Mark
I was
Hamill.
only starting in 3. 1 and 2
Okay, yeah, I couldn't
looked like
remember if they
System
were like
Shock
that in
1.
2. Yeah. So here's another thing I'll say too that I will I'll pump the narrative up a little bit, and also it's kind of a like think of the boomers thing, but um, like don't underestimate how this game presents the narrative to you. Like
Yeah. Oh,
I think it's
sorry. Before
I
you
th-
go there, because sorry, I don't want to like fucking kill your vibe because like I've wanted to talk about this exact thing for like this this whole time, but I've held off on it because it's part of your questions.
wait, is it?
In my
What's part?
opinion, it is
Oh, like
the
you
way
talking
that
about
the
Shodan and AI?
the way that the narrative is delivered is specifically with respect to Shodan.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking specifically with respect to Shodan. I was just thinking like the whole thing. Like the way that the plot's delivered through like audio logs and like the message
Yeah,
logs that you
that's what I
find and
mean.
shit. Like
Yeah,
Like this is the first game that did that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, it is.
And
It was a big
Yeah,
part of why I like Shodan.
I was trying to. I didn't know when I would say this, so I'll just say it now to elucidate my praise for this game. Uh, this game made me disrespect a lot of modern games, like a lot of them. Like so many of them are just straight fucking ripping off of this game that it's like almost unforgivable how much better this game did by
Yeah.
comparison.
No,
Bioshock is the obvious one.
yeah.
I mean, I agree with that. I fucking hate audio logs and shit in new games, and especially when they give you like fucking 4 pages of shit to read that's not interesting. Like, I want to die. But this game never did that even close. Like, every single thing this game presented to you was at least cool. Either if it was cool and goofy, like some of the audio logs, like the one guy who I don't even remember. It was like one line of I don't even remember what he says. If you guys remember, kind
Like
of know
about
what I'm
his
talking
cat.
about. No, the cat guy was awesome. I thought that one was fantastic. There was one where it's like, why do I wonder or something, and that's the whole audio log, and it's like, what the fuck was that? But I don't know. It's like it's always interesting.
I feel like I know when it got in shitified like that audio log stuff. It's when achievements got made, so
Oh,
it
true.
became more of like a collectible
Oh
as
yeah.
opposed to like back
Yeah.
back when where it's like it was like the way that you learned the story basically.
It was a way
Yeah.
of introducing an NPC without having to go through the hassle of making the model of an NPC that could talk to you.
Yeah.
Another important thing that the audio logs in this game outside of the narrative is actually it was important for gameplay where it helped you actually solve puzzles and
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like, and not only that, but it's like, to me, I think like the subtlety of just being able to pick up the audio log and get like a certain amount of exposition while you're running around exploring and doing shit is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And like wildly novel at the time when I'm sure like every game back then was, a text box comes up and you're
Yeah.
locked to reading it or hearing it until it's
Yeah.
done.
I mean, think
Yeah,
about
like
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, or like a cutscene playing or like whatever. But this game's like, here's your story and keep going, bitch.
Yep. No, I think it's great for world building too, right? There's a lot of them that aren't pertinent, but are still super interesting. Like basically in the entire security floor, where like you go into like the barracks and then you just learn about people in their days and what they were gonna do. I think it really kind of helps
Yeah.
paint that this place was like a real place kind of thing.
Yep, 100%.
I'll put it this way. It like to me it makes BioShock look like a walking sim.
I mean, I want to
Yeah,
play Prey.
yeah, 100%
Like
actually. I agree.
legitimately.
Holy shit, that is like the most accurate thing.
That's awesome.
I'm like I love BioShock 1 and I really like BioShock Infinite too, but man, I don't know if I can look at those games the same anymore.
Is Prey good comparatively?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
very good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that Prey is the true spiritual successor to this game and it does
Nice.
hold up.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, first question. So, where's the pin? How do you feel Shodan compares to other AI antagonists across all other forms of media, such as GLaDOS, HAL, AM, etc.?
I could just read this off. Hopefully, I didn't make like a grammatical error. But basically, I think that the quality of Shodan as a villain, at least as far as the first game is concerned, because I didn't play the second one, is it's like overrated or maybe overstated how good of a villain she is in this game. But the method as to which her character development is revealed to the player is what I feel like people really resonate with, and that is primarily through like the audio logs where like the developers thought it was important enough to like write up a history for her, like her backstory. And I just thought that that was really cool. And I thought about the fact that it was basically the first game that did it. And yeah, I really liked it, even if she was a campy villain.
Yeah, I agree. I came out of it feeling like she was generally just slightly above mediocre for the times, probably like significantly better. But what you're describing with like the backstory and stuff and the motivations do add a lot, especially because those sections that give her backstory are very well written. Like I wrote generally mediocre, but with a few good lines, and I wrote down the line that ends with out of the chaos they will run and whimper, praying for me to end their tedious anarchy, yada yada yada. And that line is fucking incredible. There's the other line that you get from an audio log that's like her scanning for other things like her, and she can't find anything except for like a kami out of the Shinto region or some shit like
Yeah.
that. Like that's really cool. I think as she relates to the game is where I'm disappointed with her, but her as a character is not bad.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Shodan is like she is like how do I put this? So there was a time where I got really interested in the lore and mythology of Mortal Kombat. So like I went to the Mortal Kombat wiki and I read every single article for every single character from Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which is a task by the way. But it really wasn't that bad because the way that Midway or whoever the fuck makes those games like decided that they wanted to do the stories for each character was to basically just write like 3 paragraphs of cool shit. Like they are the most one-dimensional fucking shit on the planet. It's just like here's how this guy was born, here's the cool shit that he did, here's what happened when he went to the top of the ziggurat in Armageddon or whatever. And I thought that that was fucking dope. And so to me, Shodan is almost like a version of that, where she is a flat fucking character, but she's cool as fuck through her actual presentation inside of the game world. And not only that, but I do think that she has some like relatively unique characteristics among other AI antagonists. So like fucking Hal is like logical, cold, kind of tragic. Fucking AM is like the most sadistic villain that's ever existed in any media ever. GLaDOS is sarcastic and manipulative and all that shit. But Shodan is kind of like unique, where she's like she's what happens at the confluence of ambition and intelligence when you divorce yourself from conscience and then just like allow that to roam free as the god of your realm, like in this case Citadel. So I think that she like occupies a unique space even though she is extremely fucking flat in this game, but like you were saying, Seth, I think some of the actual like prose behind her lines is fucking
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much nailed it for me. Like, she's not. It's more of Shodan the concept than Shodan the character in this game.
Yep.
Like, I like GLaDOS more in Portal 1 because she's like an actual character in that game versus Shodan in this game.
Yeah, and again, like I'm trying to like tiptoe around any System Shock 2 spoilers because I kind of hope you guys play that game because playing this game was just like, holy fuck, how did they make the second game? Because it's so much better.
I thought we were
But
gonna do it for this.
she is a fucking amazing character in the second game, and that's because they fatten her up a little bit.
I'm really hoping that we do play
Yeah.
the second remaster when it comes out for this, because the
That'd be
fact that they actually went through the effort of making a controller UI is like that's actually like huge. So I want I actually want to like play that shit
It comes
Yeah.
out soon, right? Or it
Yeah,
did
it's like a
already
week.
come out?
relatively
30th.
soon. Yeah,
It got delayed to the second week of July.
Oh damn. I mean, it's not like we don't have things to play between now and then. So
Yeah, for sure.
we'll pick
Yeah.
it eventually.
Yeah, we can have a cooldown on sci-fi immersive
Exactly, that
sims.
too, right? I don't want to go directly.
If we're
System Shock 2.
yeah, and if we're gonna do that, then I'm probably not gonna pick Prey.
Hilarious. System Shock, then Prey, then System Shock 2, and now we're
Yeah,
just
oh
an
my
immersive
God.
sim club.
That'd be so much.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on Shodan as she relates to other AI villains?
Despite being through her view godlike, she felt more vulnerable compared to a lot of the other examples that you listed and that I can think of, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that that's like kind of a core component, right? Is like she feels like she's a god, but she's getting
Yeah.
her ass kicked at every turn.
Yeah.
A lot of the other
But
ones
I
are
mean,
aiming for
even
control.
more than just like literally vulnerable. Like you're listening to her audio logs, and they're like telling you her
Oh,
feelings
yeah.
on things, and that's
Oh, that was
very
cool.
interesting.
Where she's like
Yeah.
talking to the cyborgs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that is that like another thing that makes Shodan kind of unique is that you actually do kind of get that like origin story, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't get that with like Hal or GLaDOS. I don't think you get it with GLaDOS. It's been a while, but
you get it in Portal 2.
You definitely don't with AM, other than like the extent of their origin story is I woke up and fucked shit up.
Wait, I'm sorry, real quick, because I'm retarded and uncultured. What is AM?
AM is the AI villain from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and uh,
Okay, so I know about the game and what happens. I just didn't know that the character was named AM.
yeah,
I didn't either until I looked it up, Ben, to make you feel better.
absolutely psychotic villain. Just go like read the. I mean, just read I Have No Mouth and I Must
Oh,
Scream because it's like 60 pages.
I watched Slow Beef play it on Retsu Prey.
I've never actually played the game. I've just read the book or the short
Uh,
story.
well, I guess I know what happens in the story at least. So like
Yeah,
I know what happens at the end. That's really all you need to
yeah,
know.
pretty much, pretty much. But okay, yeah, we can move on to the next question here, which is System Shock is a foundational game in the immersive sim genre that has influenced God knows how many games in the 30 plus years since it was released. Given that, what mechanics or systems do you think have aged well, and what mechanics or systems do you think have aged poorly?
Like I mentioned earlier, the amount of systems in this game that aged well made me disrespect a serious amount of other games. The ones that aged well, I actually really like the salvage system. It felt like a pretty modern system. The idea of interspersing shooters with puzzles. I don't know how many games have done it before this, but I love that component. You could say that directly inspired Portal as well as other things. Um, and energy and HP as resources with limited consumables for items. Again, I don't know how many games did that before this, but I felt like if this is the first game that did it or popularized it, it did very well.
Jordan?
I was just thinking about what Seth said. Basically, I mean, the salvage system again isn't in the original game. That's remake only. Um, Trying to think about the if does any other game do like the resource management stuff before System Shock?
Before
No.
System Shock, I mean, probably Ultima Underworld, right? Which is
Yeah.
like the real like
Hmm.
first immersive sim, I think, like the true
Yeah.
first one.
So the answer probably is Ultima Underworld, which is a game that Looking Glass made like a couple years before System
Oh,
Shock,
okay.
which is kind of like a rough around the edges kind of version of the immersive sim. But System Shock is what took that and kind of sanded down the icky parts.
I don't have a lot of experience with like immersive sims in general. Like when looking at a list, the only ones I even played were the two new Deus Exes, the Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Like I literally haven't played anything else.
You haven't
Uh,
played Bioshock?
nope, I haven't played any of the Bioshocks.
Oh wow.
BioShock is way closer to this one than those games are, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the salvage system isn't in the old one is good because I would have actually been like extremely impressed if they had something like that in the old one because that system is very like modern. So that kind of changes like what I have written down. I don't really like. I wish it was more like Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night and like the healing pod stuff. Like I didn't like that. Um, yeah, that's kind of all I have because I don't have much experience with or with immersive sims in general.
Yeah, so what I've got written down that I think this game did extremely well is environmental storytelling, like especially in the original actually. Like they managed to do a whole lot of storytelling just through like the different types of floors that you go through, and like the ways that you interact with those floors, and like just by virtue of like where radiation is or where the fucking toxic bullshit is, and just the different like rooms and medical, I think do a really good job of painting a picture of not just what Citadel would have been like when it wasn't fucked up, but also just like the sense of how bad things got really quickly. So, in terms of games that I think did this really well really early, this has to be like way up there.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Cause like
I,
cause like basically what I wanted to say is what you were just saying is the environmental storytelling. And just to add one more example is when you first get to executive, you get to that one like board meeting room, that conference room, and like the table's like split in half, like it was like
Mm-hmm.
sliced in half by like some laser or something, or like the laser rapier maybe that you find later, and like everybody's in suits, but they're all dead. It's like what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really fucking good.
I think
Um,
building on
good.
that, one thing that I thought was kind of lame was that the dog tags didn't tie up with any of the people's names and said they were like the Kickstarter backers or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I was really hoping that I was gonna find like because I kept checking the names until I was
Yep.
like, oh, this is just Kickstarter
Yeah, I
people.
found Go Carnage and then I was like, oh, it's Kickstarter shit, and then I never looked at them again.
And I guess, like when I was answering the question, I was really only thinking about systems, not necessarily storytelling. But you're definitely correct. And
Oh yeah.
the reason that the reason that I called Bioshock a walking sim earlier is because like Sesh, I promise you, if you were to play Bioshock right now, like you would realize that game is literally just this game in a
Hmm.
different in a different setting. That is all that game is, and that's why I disrespect it now. And the fact that this established that like 20 years before Bioshock is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of other things that it's done well. I've mentioned it a few times now, but the diegetic UI I think is fucking incredible. I
Yeah.
do think that this was like I think it was a trend at the time to have very diegetic UIs just because like people were fucking lame or whatever. But I think in this game in particular, it does a really good job in both versions of the game. Because like you got to think about it, right? Like when you wake up, you are like a transhuman. Like you've got like neural links and whatever the fuck set up. So the fact that it loops that into the UI in the 94 game in a very like uh inelegant to play but elegant to the diegetics I think is the best way I could think about it. And I think that they carried that over really well in this game in the remake as well. So like I think that the UI for games like System Shock paved the way for other like similarly thought out UIs like in oh what's that game called Dead Space.
Yeah, I have a question about the original. When you opened up your inventory or the map, did the game not pause like it does in the remake?
Your inventory is always on the screen. It's in like the
Okay, so
bottom middle.
okay, so the remake is faithful because the game just doesn't pause.
Right.
Okay, I actually, even though like it frustrated me, I do appreciate that like commitment to the immersion.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
good to have in like horror shooters like this.
yeah, for sure. I think that's
I
what's
always
like
hate it.
most important. Another thing I think it did really well is level design. I think the levels in this game, like especially if you like, so in the remake, I think they added like some small pathways like through the vents and stuff. I don't think they added anything major. Probably need fact checked on that, but like if you think about the levels in this game, like something like storage, like I think storage is like a fucking masterpiece in level design because of like all of the ways that it introduces new enemies, the fucking traps, the verticality of it. Like that is like crazy to me that Brains in 1994 put storage together. Like I think that it is incredibly well thought out and it's a nice like insular like you don't really have to go back and forth in storage very much. It's just kind of its own thing, but it works so fucking well. Um, and to go along with that, I think the way that they interconnect spaces in like the elevators and stuff is very very good. I actually looked this up because I was curious. I was wondering like how far in advance Super Metroid came out before this game, and it's like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So uh, I think that like they were so fucking next level in the way that they thought out the entire map of
Hmm.
Citadel.
No, I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy like how much we've lost the sauce on like level design for things like that because yeah, games like Super Metroid and this game and everything have such fucking sick ass maps, but then like somewhere in the mid 2000s, everyone just forgot how to make a level and haven't caught up.
Yeah, I think the only thing for this game that didn't age super well to me, even though the level design and the interconnectedness between the levels is really good, is the lack of even like a soft fast travel system. And the reason I love fucking Prey so much is the the beautiful elegance of its fast travel system by comparison, which is again why I consider it like a true spiritual successor to this game rather than a poser like Bioshock. Because I'm not going to go and pray too much, but yeah, I think like even just like a soft fast travel system is the only thing that this game is missing for me because of the amount of backtracking that's in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like, I think if the only thing that they added was like a very convenient way to get back to medical, I would be happy.
Yeah, like Sash, I'm going to give you, or wait, Ben, you haven't played Prey either, right?
I played, so I actually bought the game like twice on PS4 and then the PS5, and I know I'm retarded. Um, and I'm going to, so when you choose the game again, I am going to get it again on PC. And
Okay.
I played up to the point where I hit the very first plot twist, so I'm not going to say anything beyond that.
Yeah, I don't think that you saw the fast travel system. So to give some soft spoilers, the setting of Prey is very similar to this one, in just the sense you're on a space station for most of the game. Um, the fast travel in that game is literally just you go out into space and you enter into another section of the fucking spaceship. Like
That's
it's
cool.
just a fully like open world space section, and you just travel around to different sections of the spaceship. It's so fucking good,
Yeah, that's cool.
Is it
Is
automated?
huh?
Is that automated, or do you have to like manually like float your ass over?
I think once you've gone from one to the other, you can like instant travel. I think.
Gotcha.
is Prey too much of a horror game for Ben for us to play it? Should I just play it on my own?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I'll play
It
it.
only has a little bit of horrorness at the start,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
just
it.
I'm assuming
This
Seth's
game
gonna pick it.
probably has more horror than Prey does.
Yeah,
That game
So I
has
won't
more
play
head
it then.
crab enemies though.
That is true.
the head crab enemies become a total meme too. It's funny. The scariest part becomes just a joke by the end of the game.
All right. Well, let me finish up my part of the question here
Yeah.
before we get too deep in the weeds here. Only other thing that I had as aged well is something we've already talked about, which is just like the overall presence of Shodan. Like again, her presentation, particularly like in an audible sense. And what I said in here has aged poorly is the combat, but I think maybe that didn't age poorly. I think it was just actually bad from the beginning. And then the thinness of the narrative, despite really, 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 really good world building. I think the only
Yeah.
thing that separates this game from the goats is that they did not pile enough narrative on. But if they had done that, holy moly!
Yeah. I agree with those two things for
I
sure.
agree.
I think it's actually fine that the gameplay was a little bland, because like that means that like in terms of like the mental stack, that means you had more time to actually like puzzle out what you're supposed to do,
Well,
as
I
opposed to
mean,
like executing the game.
I don't even necessarily mean like mechanically bland, but just like some kind of feedback when I hit something with my bullets and my sword and shit would have been nicer. Or at least more than what they
Yeah,
give
like
you.
just like man, this might be asking a lot, but it's a remake, so fuck it. Like imagine if you have the laser rapier and you do a power attack and it just cuts some of those motherfuckers in half. Oh my god.
It does
Wait,
instigate shit
wait,
sometimes.
was there a power attack, or was I just like so noob I
You
didn't
just hold
notice?
it down. Just hold
Oh
the
yeah, I
fucking
do
button down.
remember that, but it was like basically the same animation as a
Yeah.
normal attack.
It
Yeah,
just
but
did more damage.
Yeah,
I think
does
it
more
does like
damage.
16x damage or something. Like the
Yeah,
discrepancy in how much
so
damage it does is crazy.
yeah, to Seth's point, there maybe should have been more feedback for that because I would have never known.
Yeah, and I don't even
Yeah.
mean I just mean feedback in the sense of like fucking sound effects, visual effects, like anything.
Yeah, but like even an additional effect would have like informed me it was doing like
Mm-hmm.
16 times more damage. Because like all I thought it was doing was like doing just like some like extra special attack with like maybe more range, where like it like
Oh,
auto tracked maybe, but like no, I guess it just really
Yeah,
just
it's
did
a
a fuck
lot more
ton more
damage.
damage.
Way more.
I'm sorry, I need to jump back to UI real quick. Fuck the laser rapier.
What?
That motherfucker
Oh,
is
'cause it
way too
blocks the whole
bright and
screen?
covers half my screen.
Yeah, it blocks the whole screen. It makes
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
That is
everything
annoying.
terrible.
It did for a while, but then I changed my FOV settings and it was
Oh, that's smart.
much better. Much better. But at
That's
first,
smart.
yeah, it covered the whole goddamn screen.
Yeah,
Even on
it is-
ultra wide.
It
It
is
was
fucking
ridiculous.
Oh
annoying.
my god.
All right, Ben, what do you got? What aged poorly? What aged well?
Um I already kind of like kind of like piggybacked off your age well, and I removed my aged poorly section. I moved it somewhere else, and I'm not sure if I'll talk about it because it's kind of a touchy subject for the immersive Sims community,
Uh-oh, hot take. Hot take incoming.
and I'm not sure if there's a time or a place for it. So maybe I just won't talk about it at all.
All right,
Floor's yours.
So you got nothing else to add to the
No.
mechanics?
No, we can move on.
All right. Favorite floor and why? Start with Ben and go down the channel from there.
No, executive was my favorite. It was it was like the first time where I noticed visually like that this was a very like different section of the ship where it was the vibe was totally different. I felt like I was playing kind of like a golden eye kind of, not really, but like it's just it felt like I was playing maybe a little bit of a different game. Just
Ben,
from
why
the
are
way
you
it
stealing
looked.
my answer? Bastard.
Ah,
Because executive is the best floor.
It is?
And
You're right.
it's also the other reason, which it also what did frustrate me because it's something that one of you guys mentioned already was that it's the floor where you got all the cool shit, like literally everything cool you got on in executive, and it filled up your inventory, and you had to like you had to manage it somehow. Where you either like you either found the cargo on that floor, you ran back to the last cargo you remembered, you dumped it on the floor, you did something, but like it was just like a bunch of cool shit that you wanted, and you had to just decide from all the toys which one you wanted and which one you were just gonna throw away, basically.
I'm in
I
full
feel
agreement.
like,
You basically just said everything I was going to say when it came to me. So
Yeah, I feel like executives is kind of like the canonical, like this is the best floor in the game. But I have uh, what is maybe among the System Shock community a bit of a hot take, and my actual favorite floor is fucking Flight Deck.
oh,
Uh,
I thought you were going to say storage.
oh, I've been glazing storage like crazy because I think it's a design masterpiece. But I think Flight Deck is my favorite floor just from like a emergent gaming perspective because it has a really unique layout versus the rest of the game. Because like I don't know about you guys, but I avoided fighting that big fucker when you first walk in until I absolutely had no choice. And so, like off of that, it introduces a lot of new enemies, like the flying pterodactyl dudes. It has like the first time that you have to just like nut up and run through radiation. Standing inside of the huge hangars and picking up the audio logs there, I thought was fucking awesome. Just because of like the whole environmental storytelling aspect, where you just see all these dead people around, and they obviously had some major fight there, and then you can look out at the rest of the station through these massive hangar windows. Is fucking awesome. You get a lot of good unlocks. Like that's where you first get like the first big boot upgrade. I think it's Boot Mark II. Uh, and also, I think the whole like story thread that they have going on throughout Flight Deck, where you're talking to I can't remember her name, like the leader of one of like the little small rebellion groups that's still extant at the time. And you're like slowly trying to link up with them, and then when you finally do, she's a fucking Cortex Reaver. And the first time you fight one of those things, I think it was fucking sick as fuck. So Flight Deck's my favorite.
Flight Deck's probably my second favorite. I think it's a good pick. I will say the only thing that may have added to my experience of the last thing you mentioned with the Cortex Reaver popping down is if you didn't see that in the game over screen.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
yeah.
But it is a really cool moment.
What you got, Jordan?
Yeah, I was just thinking because I'm like, damn, I didn't like Flight Deck at all. I thought Flight Deck was like was a Shadows of the Empire, but like worse design level kind of thing. Like I don't know, I didn't like that in the slightest. That's I'm trying to just like recontextualize it and all the things that you said.
Yeah.
And I also
mean,
went there a
definitely.
lot later than you, I think, because by the time I was there, I was already laser raping the shit out of everything. So when I got to the big guy, I was just like, yup, and kill him with ease. So that makes me think I went there a little bit later than I was supposed to.
Was that boss optional?
A Cortex Reaper?
Yeah,
I don't think
Maybe.
so.
No, I don't think so.
because like I'm trying to, because I remember like where I ran into it on the map, and I'm trying to remember like what was there that was so important.
There's something in that room when you kill the Cortex. It gives you like a key card that you need to progress or something.
Okay, that has to be because it wasn't the nodes. I don't think it wasn't the CPU nodes. So it has to be something that like gated your progress somehow.
Yeah, I feel like that's not optional, but I can't remember exactly why. I remember
Yeah.
the Cortex Reaper has a key card on the body. I remember that 100%.
Okay, well that has to be it. Sorry for the tangent.
Oh, you're good.
Well, what's your answer, Jordan?
This is like a really tough one for me because I think there's like a lot of cool ones. I almost picked like it's either for me. I think it's either research or security because I think research I didn't hate the combat yet, so I kind of really liked everything the game was throwing at me. Basically around the time that I was going through research, and then security I just kind of really liked the barracks and kind of how much like sense of like it made the world feel like so much more real that they just kind of had like all of those like, oh, I got tickets to the game or whatever kind of audio log stuff, and I just thought the barracks was like a cool like it wasn't a necessary area, but I think it added a lot to the world building. I didn't like executive because I mixed in. I consider the groves to be part of executive, and I think the groves sucked fucking dick.
Agreed.
And I think if you cut groves from the game, I would like everything about the game better because it would like I think it just added time and really nothing else, no coolness. Except maybe the chess puzzle, which I think would have been cool in '94, but not so much in 2023.
We here in executive do not claim the groves. I'm just putting that on record.
Yeah, if it's not part of it, I think it's probably my third favorite floor because I think the Diego fight was fucking awesome. It's the fight where I realized that using the berserk augment and the slowdown is like,
Yep.
oh, I'm gonna kill everything in the game.
Yep.
Because
That's
they
how I
can't
killed
even
every
hit you
Cortex
when you use
Reaper.
the slowdown because like you outrun the projectile, so it's literally just you're immortal and you do so much damage. So yeah, I think it's probably research, but I think that's just when I was the highest on the game, so I think that's why I like that floor the most.
Research is awesome. I think research like in my opinion research just takes what like it takes the rules that the game gives you in medical and then like expands on them
Exactly.
in a huge way.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good pick. Research is awesome. I hate security though.
I just like the barracks. I really really like the barracks and security.
I just can't get over how tedious the combat starts to feel by the
I
end
agree.
of it.
No, yeah, the combat's. I'm trying to remove the combat from
So
thinking
Yeah,
about what
this
floor I like.
that's
this
fair.
is something that like I can't relate to because of my journalist god mode experience, but I was running that through that shit like Doom guy. I thought it was fun.
I mean, I
That's
almost
fair.
was. I had to reload a couple times, but like, yeah, I had so much like health and shit that as long as I had access to an energy station, things were fucking getting slashed to shit.
All right. Well, Seth, what do you got?
Well, Ben stole literally everything I was going to say about executive. But I mean, I'll add some things. Number one, if you told me that someone played System Shock up through executive, thought this is the best game ever made, and then decided to make Bioshock, I would believe you because executive is literally just what Bioshock is, but like it's just such an incredible level. Like even discounting whether or not you like the groves, it has those as such a cool concept within them, both from like the narrative and they're also like visually striking compared to everything else. Even considering how unique executive is by comparison to everything else, it has a ton of unique enemies in there in the groves. I mean, back to executive, you know, it has the fucking casino, which is awesome. It has the theater. It tells you so much about the lives that these people lived, about, you know, the corporate executives just having a grand old time while everyone was fucking dying, presumably. Who knows? It has the Diego fight, which is a great reveal that he's still around kicking and now on the side of Shodan. Yeah, I think there's really not much to dislike about an executive. I'm gonna defend the Grove a little bit because I actually like the Groves. like I said, very visually striking compared to pretty much everything else, which I give it a lot of points for. I thought the idea of just blitzing through beta was a lot of fun, and just the virus narratively out of the four like narrative components that Shodan was going through, I thought it was the coolest concept of the four.
Yeah, so I actually do like the groves as well, except for beta. That's it.
I
I wish
will
it was
I
gladly
only
think
own
one
beta.
grove.
I
Three
think
groves.
I think it should either just be beta or just be the non-beta groves. Because like for me, a big thing that kind of knocks parts of the score off of this game is how much I disliked the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours of the game.
Yeah.
Like the ending of executive through security through bridge. And I think that running through and doing the groves is the start of
Yeah.
a very long slog of tedium.
I agree.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, I just wish they were. I don't know. I think I fucked myself up in thinking that the Beta Grove was going to be some badass thing, and when I went into it, I was just like, it's not cool at all.
I guess I could be like slightly biased just because I did Beta Grove almost immediately after getting the space boots, so
Oh, okay.
I felt like I was a fucking god at that time.
I think I did it literally like as late as you can because I didn't want to do them. I think I did everything else before I did could do the
That's
groves.
fair.
I knew they were going to suck, and then I was hoping Beta Grove was going to be like some survival horror thing, and then it wasn't, and then I was super let down, and I think that's why I don't like Executive.
Yeah, I just think it overstays its welcome.
Agreed.
Personally. Also, the whole thing with getting back to Diego's office, but that's me being an idiot.
That does take points away from me, but apparently I'm also dumb. So
All right. Well, if no one else has anything to add to their favorite floors, I think we had some good answers there. We'll jump into the next question here, or the last question, which is: are immersive sims and genres cut from a similar cloth better when they seek to frustrate the player a little bit? Where's the line drawn between challenge / player agency / bad UX? We'll go from bottom to top. Start with Seth.
let me just read my paragraph every time real quick. Based on the immersive sims that I've played, which would be Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, Prey, Dishonored 1, and a little bit of 2, a little bit of Deathloop. I think that's all of the immersive sims I've played, depending on what you count. I don't feel like they are necessarily improved from the kind of frustration that you might be talking about, but in general, having friction can improve your experience. For example, making the sprinting movement feel like butt cheeks until you get the space boots, and then it's like, oh my god, I'm fucking Superman, amazing. But then another type of frustration these games have frequently is the resource management, which that might not be frustrating for some people, but as a bad gamer, I can find it frustrating at times. But the frustration of resource management can serve the game by, number one, inducing panic to facilitate the horror vibes that these games pretty much always have. Like the situation I was describing earlier, where you're at the end of the hallway and you turn around and something's running at you. Number two, encourage you to use other guns. You run out of ammo on one gun, you switch to the next gun, obvious. Number three, you make every shot feel like it matters, and the most obvious feeling you get from that is the railgun. Oh my god, I could probably name every single shot that I fired with the railgun because it was fucking awesome. As for like where exactly I would place the line, I don't know exactly where I would place it, or how I would describe it, but I feel like when I'm fighting the UI and not the game is where I would put the line. For example, when I'm managing inventory space, I don't feel like I'm fighting the UI. I feel like I'm trying to do what the game wants me to do, for better or worse. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't feel like I'm fighting with the UI in that case. I don't know exactly where to describe where that would be otherwise, though.
Yeah, no, I actually think that that's a very prescient point with fighting with the UI, because I didn't actually outline anything specifically about where the line would be drawn, but I think that that's actually a very good place to put it.
You're saying that you didn't feel like the UI was bad, Seth? Like the inventory management? Like you like that part, or?
I would say I'm like neutral on it. It didn't bother me that much. It could have been better, but like it didn't detract from my experience, I would say. And it made certain upgrades like the increased inventory space feel a lot better.
Mhm.
I think with this game, the line where I would put something like that is the like what I mentioned earlier, the fucked up keybinds. I don't like struggling with things I know how to do. I just don't know what they decided to bind these
Sure,
buttons
yeah.
to. So I don't like remap. I didn't want to remap them for that reason, just to see
Yeah.
what it would feel like.
Okay, I remember what I wanted to say because like here's the thing, like the things that frustrated me about the game, I don't feel are frustrating because they're immersive sim mechanics. They're frustrating because of the way they were implemented, if that makes sense.
Can you give an example?
Uh, m- like just like everything that was just described, I guess.
Like the
Like
inventory system.
yeah, like the inventory system is bad because it's bad, not because it's an immersive sim feature.
Yeah, yeah, and like that's what I mean. Like you don't have to like the inventory system or not, but I don't think that it detracts from the game in a frustrating way.
Yeah. What you got, Jordan?
So again, I don't really have like a frame of reference for like immersive sims and what they do besides like Deus Ex. I mean, I could just talk about like the idea of like friction, and ever since I was introduced to me thinking of like just that and contextualizing that more. I think this game has like way too much friction and way too much tedium to be like anywhere near something that's like a fun and enjoyable experience. And basically, like almost everything in the design about the remake is kind of trying to challenge the player. And a big thing that I think that the games that do this well is that at a certain point the tedious systems become no longer tedious and you overcome them. So, for example, if the inventory expansion was like 2x inventory and now suddenly you're like, holy shit, I don't have an inventory problem. This is fucking awesome. Instead, it feels like shit when you're like, holy shit, I got a fucking whatever they call it, like a microcosm black hole pocket or whatever the fuck, and then it's 5 inventory slots in a 60 fucking inventory slot thing, and you're like, this is terrible. It's like the exact opposite. So I think the game just has like way too much friction and is just challenging the players way too much throughout the game. In the beginning of the game, in the first half, I think that that's fine, but I think in the second half there needs to be a lot more of like a okay, you've overcome this, rather than still challenging, still trying to fucking deal with ammo and like what ammo do I have and all of that shit. When at the end of the game, that's not what I should be having to worry about. I think.
Wait, real
That's
quick,
fair. Yeah.
just so that I'm 100% sure, because I'm high and I just want to make sure that I understand clearly. In the original, when you picked up like the fucking like BFG Laser 9000, it did not take up like your whole inventory, but it went into like its own like inventory component, I guess, compartment.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, let me see if I can find a screenshot for you real quick. You guys can
Did
tell me.
you ever have like actual inventory concerns in the
I think
original
it's like a
game?
list. I think I don't think that there is an
Yeah.
inventory concern.
No,
Oh,
there's no inventory concern in the original
Yeah,
game.
it's just
Yeah,
Okay,
here you
it's
go.
it's literally just like
if
a list. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
just
that
look at
so
the bottom middle. That is
oh,
your
Jesus.
inventory.
yeah, so that's just another
Yeah.
example of like the immersive sim mechanic being fine, but just the implementation in the remake being
Yeah.
bad.
It's just friction for the sake of friction without ever alleviating the friction. So it's just always like a consideration and it not in a fun way to me.
I this entire time I thought there was at least like inventory for your ammunition and shit in the original.
Nope.
There's no inventory.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, that's completely a remake thing.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
It's immersive. I'll give them that. It's a good like it's a good immersive system, especially for the diegetics.
Yeah.
But
So
it's just a fucking pain with
Yeah.
how big some of those items are.
this is a perfect segue into my answer to this, which is um I actually think that like a certain level of frustration is a very, very important component in games like this. So like this may or may not be obvious, but the inspiration for this question was Jordan when you were talking about like the lack of hand holding in the beginning of the game and how you just had no fucking idea
Hmm.
what you needed to do. I actually like that because in a game like this that is leaning so hard into the diegetics that it is like wishing that it could put a fucking VR headset on you. I think that that feeling of we we did this thing, some bad shit happened. Now I'm waking up 6 months later. I have no fucking idea what's happening. Like, I think that that is part and parcel, like the experience that they wanted you to have, which is why I don't. I think that the inventory is not good, but I also think that it's very consistent with the feeling that they want you to have in this game, which is that they do want you to like feel tension and struggle because the situation calls for it. So I think that a lot of immersive sims kind of live in that same world where a little bit of frustration right off the bat is good because once you learn the rules and once you can kind of put things together a little bit to start building up those small victories, I think it makes it feel so much better. Like, um, and I can understand hating it too, because like the example I was thinking of, if we got into like a huge debate about the beginning of this game and the lack of handholding that it does, was me going to be like, well, what the fuck's the difference between this game and La Mulana? Where La Mulana obviously just like kicks you in the balls from the time that the game starts until you find the Holy Grail, which is not a trivial thing to do. And I fucking love that. I love that feeling of like this game is not doing me any favors, but it respects my agency and it respects my ability to just like figure shit out when I need to. Now, could this game have used maybe the like tiniest bit of signposting in certain spots? Maybe. Like I think the severed head puzzle is kind of brutal. I don't know what your guys' experience with that was, but
I
I
googled it.
I think that the frustration I think is very core to the experience that makes an immersive sim an immersive sim. I guess is the long and short of it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot for that. I mean, the severed head, I knew I had to look up where it was again because I remember when I first found it, I was like, "Oh, you're going to use this for like a retinal scanner or something," and I'll put it down and I'll come back and find it because I don't want to take up the inventory space. And then 12 hours later or however later it was, I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no fucking way I remember where that was," so I had to Google it. But yeah, so I think so. I watched the first 10 minutes of System Shock, the original System Shock, because I wanted to see if I would be as overwhelmed with that game, and I don't think I would have been. I think the remake specifically just gives you so many systems and so many things that are going on, and so much visual clutter and everything that it's such an overwhelming experience for the first like 90 minutes, basically. Of like the game's not helping you. There's so much shit going on. You have to interact with so many fucking things. There's so many buttons on the fucking UI that are there and aren't there, and like what the fuck is this and what the fuck is that? I think the original is actually way less daunting to get into and way more of the vibe of what you're saying. I think remake introduces a lot of things that makes it just extremely fucking overwhelming to the point of where they should have tried to introduce it to the player slowly. Like, don't start with an inventory, don't start with a HUD, and you install these things or something like that because it was just so much. Like, if we weren't doing this for this, I don't think I would have gotten past that initial hump because it took me the majority of my time was the first 90 minutes of this game basically because it was just like it felt so awful to try to figure out what the game wanted me to interface with.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's a good point then.
I think you might have kind of said this, but I think Sash also said something earlier that was pretty salient with relation to like being tossed into something and you don't know what the hell is going on. Sesh mentioned earlier, like never really feeling like you overcame that in a strong way. Like there's a lot of tedium all the way up until the end, and I think I would agree with that in relation to what you said, Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why you have friction in games is because when you alleviate the friction, it feels awesome.
Yeah, which is
But
why I brought
they
up the
never
space
do.
boots.
Yeah, they never do in a lot of spots in this game. Like you're always having tediously backtrack to hell stations and shit like that, and it always feels bad.
Yeah, and like there's so many cool examples of things they could do. Like imagine if you just had one section. Yeah, imagine if like somewhere on the bridge or somewhere in security you just had like literal infinite energy
Yeah.
for like a room or something. Like shit like that
Mhm.
would be really cool.
Yeah, there's no way that you can't like pick up a module from something and then it plays like a badass music and then suddenly you have infinite energy and you're
Yeah.
rooting around with the laser rape. You're just shitting on everything and Shodan's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Honestly, I I think I actually would concede that point. I think that's a very good point. I lost my train of thought.
Something to talk about with like La Mulana in this game though is like La Mulana's player onboarding sucks, but it's not overwhelming. You just don't know what to do. This game is like overwhelming in the amount of like options and everything. Like you're not really overwhelmed in La Mulana like ever. It's always just like, what the fuck do I do?
I don't know that I would agree with that actually.
I'm trying to think of where because La Mulana, I never felt like, holy fuck, I have to ingest so many things.
But I mean, like, think about a player playing La Mulana for the first time.
Yeah,
You
you're
spawn
not
in the
opening the
village.
ruins.
You go to the left. You die to fucking what's his name, Argos, and you're like, okay, well, what the fuck? You respawn. You climb up to the right. You get dive bombed by a fucking pelican, and then you fall in the water, and then you learn that water kills you, and then you go, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
then you respawn, and you maybe get the ruins open, and now there's this whole new insane layer of what the fuck.
I have a very specific example from when I played because I'm very easily overwhelmed by those games because I suck at them.
Sure.
And it's the moment you get to the Grail save point. I think it's like really close to where you get. Yeah, you go to the save point near where the Grail is. I forget exactly where it is, but it's in the first area. And I remember my experience where I don't have the Grail, so I can't leave. That's not really that's not really an option right now. So I go bottom left. Okay, let's check out Mausoleum. Oh, I'm just dying in here. This is too much. I leave. Okay, let's go top right. Okay, I'm in Spring in the Sky. Oh shit, this water is just fucking murdering me. Okay, I'm not going here. I go back. Now I go bottom right. Oh, Temple of the Sun. Oh shit, this stuff fucking hurts. Oh, okay, this is too much. I leave. Oh god, now there's 3 areas that I need to explore.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was a lot.
I mean, I think with what Tom said, I don't think that's overwhelming. I think that's a sense of hopelessness and helplessness and not knowing what to do. But I don't think you're overwhelmed. I think you're just like, fuck this. And then when you open the ruins, I feel like you're kind of figured out. And then, but what Seth said before you get the Grail is when that is the most for sure.
Oh, yeah.
When you're just like overwhelmed by
Yeah.
like because backtracking sucks and everything. La Mulana 2
Yeah.
is a much better onboarding experience. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
game's great at
Oh
onboarding new
yeah,
players.
that's night and day from the first game.
Yeah, no, La Mulana 1. I don't think it's quite like what System Shock Remake was. Maybe it's more in line with kind of how System Shock Original was, in that you're supposed to feel like helpless, not like overwhelmed as much.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think of those as like synonymous because for me, it's like hopeless is looking at something and just being like, well, I can't fucking do shit. And overwhelming is looking at something and just saying, well, what the fuck do I do? Which is kind of tantamount to saying, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, for me, it was like a processing thing. Like there was too much information to process, and I didn't want to process any of it. So that's why it had to be ingested in small chunks until I got over like understanding what the game was telling me in all of these different areas at the same time.
Yeah, and it's hard for me because I knew what to do in this game from start to finish, but like given that I think one of my bigger criticisms of this game is the visual clutter, then I can definitely see how that
That's
would
what I'm saying. Like, I
fucking
don't
you
think
up.
I would have had that issue at all in the original because it's so much more clear. Like, here's the button that you need to press. Here's like the door you need to go through. Here, it's like everything is so like perfect in that way compared to this game where it's like everything looks interactable. It's fucking crazy.
Damn, I would have made you guys play the fucking original if I knew you had the stomach for it.
I mean, I
That's
would
gonna be
have
funny when you hear my
I
rating for the
don't
I
game.
think Ben would have
know if I
not.
would have.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Not-
fair enough.
Not to like actually play it, but probably like the setup that it would require.
There's
don't
the enhanced
know.
edition that like is
Oh,
I think
really?
just works. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to play
Yeah.
classic. That's unplayable. But the enhanced
Oh,
edition I
okay.
think would fix it
In
enough.
that case, yeah, in that case I could. But if it was like this straight up like MS DOS original, I don't know. I don't know about that.
It would still be a struggle. I think when you got to cyberspace, you might stop playing the game because it's really it's like playing a 1970s arcade game like that. Those kind of vector graphics, like it looks terrible.
Yeah, like the original game has tank controls.
Yeah, yeah. The original is unplayable. I mostly mean enhanced
Yeah,
edition.
if
Yeah.
it's I think I would need to play the remake then if it was tank
Yeah, I agree.
controls.
No, that's a
rating-
given.
My
Enhanced
rating will
edition.
definitely be with rose-tinted glasses for a game that I haven't actually played.
No, I mean I think that that's fair because you got to keep in mind that like there are obviously differences between the 94 game and the remake, but again, a big criticism of the remake is that it stayed too faithful to the
Yeah.
original, even the shit that annoyed people.
Yep.
So like I think it is wholly like it's not unfair to play this game and think about it as a game that was made in 1994.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest blunder that they made was the visual clarity issue when seeing what the original game and how clear everything was.
Yeah. I mean, granted though, some of that is just I mean, it's just what happens with time. Like I remember playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive the first time and going down long A and getting pissed.
Yeah, because of all the
Because
barrels and shit.
just all the barrels, all the
Yeah.
stupid shit, all the fucking dust blowing around. Whereas in 1.6, it's just like it's like 5 polygons with low
Yeah.
res textures.
I think that's losing the sauce of like visual clarity though. I think that's just developers getting like not understanding what's a good experience for the players.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, people want that. Like, people want that detail, especially in a game like this, where like a big strength of it is the world building. Like, you need to fill up your world with shit if you're gonna
Yeah.
world build.
I think so. I mean, the two mistakes for that though is all like the junk system, like actively made the game worse compared to the original, like for sure, and like the inventory system made it worse for sure. But like you can make it so that your interactables are holy shit standouty and not like
Mhm.
everything's a green button. Like that's I
Mhm.
think that is just a failure of UI UX for this game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think like if, um, I mean, I don't know how you would do it because like obviously they didn't want to like signpost or highlight things in this
Yeah,
game, but
They
surely there was
there's
some way of
something
doing
they
it.
could have done. So like
yeah,
when you get close enough to an interactable, they do have like the little
yeah.
like
The yellow
HUD
box.
display.
Yep.
Yeah, they could increase the range that appears and also thicken the lines of those.
Yeah, they're
Or like
so thin.
just like a pulsing light, like literally diegetically. Like if something is like interactable and hasn't been interacted yet, it's just like a pulsing red. So then you're like,
Oh,
what's that?
speaking of, did you guys ever use like the loot finder thing, the power up that you get? I never turned that
No,
thing
I
on one time.
I never
What?
used any of that shit because it's such a pain on the controller.
Yeah.
So like, so I don't even want to describe what you have to do. It's so fucking dumb. I never used it
Oh,
except
I
like,
remember you telling
except to
me.
stand still. Yeah, I only use it when I stood still and I knew that I had to use it basically for like the radioactive shit. That's the only time I ever used it. Otherwise, I never touched any of those powers ever.
I mean, now that you mention it, I think I played the ever since I got like the eye upgrade, the full eye upgrade for that. I played like 70% of the game looking at the minimap because you see everything
Oh
on the
yeah.
minimap.
Oh yeah. For
Like,
sure.
yeah, I didn't even realize it until you mentioned it that like basically once I got that, I played most of the game on the minimap, like
So
Diablo
you
2.
so did you guys never use that like loot fucking shellhorn thing that you find?
Wait, are you not
Oh wait,
talking
no,
about
I
the
used it
minimap thing?
literally one time. I used it one time because I was curious. I found
Yeah.
a an audio log that
Wait,
I
what
would
the
have
fuck is
missed.
this?
How does it work? What does it do?
It's like it's like a sonar.
I don't
So
even know what
you
you're
you
talking
use
about.
it. It's I think it's literally a sonar. I don't remember what the power is called, but when you use it, it like emits like you can see it on the mini map. Like waves come out like
What the hell?
Huh.
and then it highlights like like things on the map that
Wait,
you can pick up.
Like relevant things?
Yeah, so like an audio log that I would have missed, I would have never noticed it in the executive somewhere unless I'd use this thing.
When I fucking turned it on, like I couldn't see anything happening. It sucked up all of my energy and I just never turned it on
wait,
again.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about then, because I
No,
thought you were talking about the
yeah,
minimap
so
upgrade thing.
I forget what it's
no,
called, but
no,
you
it's
find
like
it pretty early.
it's one of the 8 buttons that appear
Is it on the
on the
right
side
side?
of it's on, I don't remember what side it's on, but I used it one time, so I didn't leave it on. What I did was that like I just thought that there would be an interactable here, so I just tapped it
Ah,
on. So I turned it on
We're
and I turned it off immediately.
we're getting a bit tangent-y. We should probably wrap up awards and
Yeah,
stuff.
sorry about that.
oh,
Fair
that's
enough.
crazy.
All right. So we'll get into the awards here. So, best audio logs. We'll start with Seth. What do you got?
Honestly, it's probably that one I mentioned earlier from Shodan. One of many amazing lines in that one is, "My winds will become lightning bolts that raise the mountains of humanity." That one is so fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, I could just piggyback off that and say that was my number one, and I'll paste it to you.
Boom.
Oh, what the hell? One note paced like an idiot. The second one was the one where she talks about where she's like, "Am I is there people like me in computer science? No, quantum
Yep.
computing, blah blah blah." Like that was my
Yeah,
close second
that's
place.
good.
but
That's
I
my
think-
second. Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite, I will link in YouTube form.
Wait, that's the same one.
Is
Yeah.
it?
That's the same one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, no,
There you go.
this line's so fucking good.
Oh, that's funny.
The alternative for that, number 2 for me, is probably actually the very first line that Shodan says to you, like as a antagonist when you blow up the CPUs in medical. I think that it's a fucking sick ass reveal when she starts talking to you like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah. I kind of wish they did like more with that style of interaction because I thought that was cool. Oh, there's
Yeah.
another cool line from. Sorry, Ben, you can go while I find it.
So my favorite line, it has to be, I don't remember exactly what Shodan says, but it's after I press the button to turn on the laser. So
Yeah.
whatever she says after that was the
Yeah.
funniest
No,
shit
that
to me.
one's
'Cause I was
great.
like, because I was like, oh, did I fuck up?
Yeah.
And then I cracked up.
Yeah. No, that one's great.
I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds funny.
Oh man, that's good
I don't
stuff.
have the full line, but just at the end where she says, "Rotten by husk irritant, we shall never speak again." Like when she's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
leave. Like I thought that's like a fucking sick thing to say to somebody,
Yeah.
especially when you know that you are gonna speak again.
I think she says that towards the end of the game. I can't remember. I
Yeah.
think it's in Bridge.
I
because
thought it was
she's-
like the antenna when she was gonna download herself to Earth when you get to engineering or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Because
she was like, "I'm out."
you blow up one of the antennas, and then she's like, "Yeah, you're just gonna fucking,
Yeah,
you're just gonna die in my gut, bitch."
yeah. I mean, I kind of wish that was like addressed again, where like, but she like never really seems like exacerbated that you're owning her. It's just kind of like the constant like delusions of God of Shodan,
Mhm.
basically.
All right, best weapon, Ben. What do you got?
My favorite weapon was the assault rifle, but
Oh wow.
I have a very biased experience because I had the cheat menu, so I clicked the add ammunition button, and it was just really fun using that weapon. I thought it had the best feedback of any weapon in the game. Like the enemies, like it. I don't think they were actually incendiary rounds, but like the way that they looked visually in the game, they might as
Yeah.
well have been setting those dudes on fire, and it looked awesome.
That's the burst fire one, right?
Yeah. It was,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
yeah. I had,
Pretty sweet.
yeah.
there's an upgrade to make it full auto. Did you get that?
Oh
Ben?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, I got every upgrade in the game because in that
Yeah.
same cheat menu there was one that said add credits, so I bought every
That's
upgrade in
funny.
the game.
So I had a feeling everyone was gonna say the laser rapier, so I also put the laser rapier. However,
Mhm.
honorable mention to the railgun, which
Oh,
is
interesting.
Hey,
dope
that was
as
gonna be mine.
is dope as fuck. That thing does so much fucking damage. It is absolutely unreal. Like
I
the times
so-
where you can't like laser rapier something that's like flying or whatever, and you just pull out your railgun and just fucking annihilate them is very satisfying.
okay, so I never used it because like the ammo was so scarce. Like, is it? It
Mhm.
has to be just one hit kill, right? Otherwise, it's not
Pretty
worth
much.
it.
Most
Oh,
things. Everything that's not a
Okay.
boss, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because I didn't actually ever fire it for that reason.
But yeah, I mean the laser rapier is kind of the clear winner because it's awesome at every stage in the game. I knew where to find it in maintenance. I don't know if you guys found it as early as that,
Yeah.
but like it's just so fucking sick. Like every single time you unlock something. In the beginning when you're just regular sprinting, it's sick.
Yep.
When you unlock the boots, it's super sick. And every boot upgrade after that just like exponentiates the laser rapier's sickness.
Yeah, not to mention if you figure out the berserk plus slowdown combo, it's just you're literally like Ben with God mode, but only like within the bounds of the game too. Like it's
Yeah.
insane how good you feel when you run those two things.
So here's the thing: I never used any of those like buffs
Oh
ever
yeah.
because it would be such a pain on controller.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I'm really glad that the developers just put in the fucking cheat menu for me.
Yeah, no, that's I think cheat menus like that are great. Like for people who like don't want to deal with the bullshit that you're making them put up with. I think
Yeah,
it's a perfect
exactly.
solution.
All right, Jordan, what do you got?
Yeah, so excluding the laser rapier, I think for me it was the Magnum because it was basically the Magnum to me was basically the railgun experience that Tom described, but with ammo that was available. So
That's a good pick.
it just all the flying enemies were fucking so like 2 shots maximum for every flying enemy with the Magnum. So as long I and you always because of the laser rapier, you could just kill the big guys and get the Magnum ammo, and then it was just basically a feedback loop of anything that blows up when I kill it with the laser rapier. I'm just gonna 1 or 2 shot it with the Magnum
Yeah,
instead.
the Magnum is so fucking sweet. Totally forgot about that thing
Yeah.
because my experience with the Magnum was I didn't use it until I was on the flight deck, and then I used it for every enemy on flight deck, and I was like, this is the greatest fucking gun I've ever used in a video game. But then
It's
I
great.
ran out of ammo
Yeah.
and like never found more ammo.
Yep.
So by the time I started getting some, I had already dropped it for something else.
Yep.
But the Magnum is fucking awesome.
I mean, that's the friction problem. Like, I wish that they would solve it because yeah, it literally feels like the Halo One pistol style fucking busted shit. Like even better than that. Like it shoots slower, but
Mm-hmm.
it does so much damage. It's insane.
All right, Seth, what you got?
I am not going to say the laser rapier for two reasons. Reason number one, the aforementioned covering up half of my screen issue. So
Yeah,
I
agreed.
just I hated that. Reason number two, I actually feel like probably like 60% of my enjoyment of that weapon was because of the space boots feeling like a Gundam just flying in and slashing them in half. So that's more the space boots than it is the laser rapier. So those are my reasons for not picking the laser rapier. So I will definitely choose railgun. Like I said, I think I remember every single shot that I used of that weapon because it was fucking awesome. Even like the icon in your inventory stands out because it's just a big slab.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
a great weapon.
Yeah, I if the reload time wasn't as bad as it was, I think I would have liked it more than the Magnum. But like the only time I ever wanted to use it was when they gave me a bunch of big things, and it was like so tedious to shoot and then run around for 15 seconds while you're reloading and then shoot again.
I just like that particular style of like run and
Yeah.
gun gameplay, like shoot them and then bail.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
fair.
shoot 'em.
Yeah, the railgun was fucking sweet. The
Yeah.
railgun is like probably the closest experience I can imagine to being able to shoot uh the sniper rifle that Asuka uses in her Evangelion unit.
Yeah.
The fucking thing is just like a goddamn op that's the size of a skyscraper, and that's what the fucking railgun feels like.
I kind of wish it had more of a feeling like that after you shoot it. Like basically just going back to the game feel that Tom was talking about.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when it takes 10 minutes to reload it, I want the thing to basically be like melting in my hand rather than just like these like two little ticks that just keep going down until you can use it again. But it was a
Yeah.
badass weapon. They just didn't let you use
Yeah,
it enough, I think.
the combat, I mean, we've talked it to death. But
Exactly.
yeah, the combat needed
Yeah.
weightiness big time. All right. We'll close things out here with the awards with the best immersive sim. I thought Jordan had played more of these, so I guess it's kind of a wash for you. But
I mean, it's Deus Ex Human Revolution for me, which is not a good answer.
what do you got, Seth?
If it's not this game, it's Prey.
Yeah, that's really fair.
Pretty straightforward there. I think that Prey is literally everything it's cracked up to be in terms of being a spiritual successor to this game. Does everything that this game does, and then modernizes it, and has like a, I think, more compelling narrative. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I agree for sure. This
Be shocked if Prey
this game's
didn't.
story is not good. Like the you gotta keep in mind, like you guys are playing the like kind of unshapen version of System Shock. Like when people talk about System Shock, they are talking about the second game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and Prey also has one of the best intros to any game ever. So
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I mean, Jordan, I assume you're just going with Human Revolution.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can't. It's
Yeah.
no other pick.
So I wrote down Prey, but I will say that it like took me a long time to figure out what was my actual favorite, and also made me realize how many fucking slam dunks there are in the immersive sim genre. So you've got this game and System Shock 2, you've got Thief 1 and 2, and I fucking love the Thief games. Even Dishonored is fucking sweet. Deus Ex 1, one of the fucking sick assest games of all time. Like, it is not easy to pick the best one of these, but my gut and my heart both went with Prey, so that's what I put down.
I don't think Dishonored is a bad pick.
Yeah, it just feels a little bit different from the rest of like the
Yeah,
immersive sim
more
crowd.
like an arcade game almost.
Yeah. What do you got, Ben? I think Ben fell asleep.
No, I had to find it real quick. I know. Hold on. So I know this is
I
an
forgot how much you love this
insane.
game.
I know this is an insane opinion that no one else on the internet has, but I fucking actually love this game. And
I
this
Deus
game
forgot
Ex
about this
is
game.
Invisible
Deus Ex
War.
Invisible War, the game that everyone hates and thinks like killed the entire franchise. Is I love this game. I to be fair, I did not play it when it originally came out. It was an Xbox One. Like when I say Xbox One, I mean like the first Xbox ever exclusive. I think I don't. It was not. Was there an Xbox U? I don't even know. It was. It's old, and I played it when it was on Steam, and I could install like resolution textures and shit. I thought the game was awesome. I thought it was really good.
I completely forgot about the lore of how much you fucking love Deus Ex 2. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know that everyone hates it. I love this game.
Was it? It wasn't your first introduction to the genre, was it?
No, but I've yeah, so I actually wrote a lot down. I only just remembered this game when you were just talking about it. I was like, this is a much better answer than what I wrote down. Because the thing is, like, I've actually played literally every single game. And by play, I mean, like, most of the times I quit very early, but I've played every single game that is called immersive sim. Even like Fatalis, I played it on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Like
that game's
the other
awesome.
day, I uninstalled it though because I couldn't stand looking at it.
Yeah, that game's that game's great, but yeah, good
Yeah,
luck.
I can see the vision. I can see the vision, but that vision doesn't include me beating the game. So, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the same way. Like I it was crazy to me to realize like the percentage of immersive sim games that I've actually played. Like it's fucking huge. And like when I was trying to decide what to pick here, I found out that the Hitman games are considered immersive sims,
Oh
and it
yeah.
was really hard for me to not pick Hitman Blood Money because I fucking love that game.
Are they? I guess they are immersive sims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Oh my
Dishonored
god.
is, then
Big time.
Hitman is. Yeah.
I don't want to get into this fucking debate because the debate about what
Let's wrap
immersive
up
sim is
before that.
Yeah.
because that's that whole like spiel that I wrote that I cut and then paste and then I decided not to talk about.
Did you play so I think that this game is considered an immersive sim and it's one that I've never actually played that I'm sure at least one of you will probably be like what the fuck, which is Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, Bloodlines? Yeah, I fucking love that
Yeah.
game. The only problem is that I can't play it anymore because it doesn't have controller support, but that game is amazing.
Um
100,000% recommend.
is it considered an immersive sim? I thought it
I
was.
think it is. I would call it very much an immersive sim. It's very much closer to the first Deus Ex than like System Shock, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those games that's like been sitting on my I need to play this list for like 15 years and I just haven't done it. All right. Well, good picks. Good picks. I think one thing I'm learning here is A, I really want to replay Prey, and B, you guys really need to play System Shock 2 because it fucking
I want to
onions.
do I want to do both those things, but I figured we'd do it for
Yeah,
this
I'm
at
gonna
some
wait till
point.
the
If
end
I
the remaster.
I would do that if I didn't just find Signalis that I'm going to play.
Are you recommending that for us?
Well, we
Not,
gotta spin the
no,
wheel.
probably not.
You're
Well,
not. You're not
we gotta
going to?
do rating. We gotta do ratings first.
Oh yeah,
Well, no.
very
I just
true.
wanted to know if you wanted to in general. But yeah, let's do
I'm gonna
ratings.
play it first and make a decision from there.
Oh, okay.
All right, well let's give our final ratings here. Start with Benjamin Button. What do you got?
Ooh, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was just a generally good game that had some frustrating things about it that I assumed were faithful, but one of them was not faithful. Apparently, the fucking the fucking whatever the vaporize system was
That is
complete
really funny.
bullshit. I thought that was from the original, and it wasn't. But and also that is why I subtracted the points from 10. So whatever that delta is, that's how much damage it did. So
Damn.
8.5 out of 10.
I've actually been sitting here trying to figure out what my rating is because I feel like it's hard to rate a game like this because it's like the Seinfeld isn't funny trope in some
Yeah.
ways.
I have
Um,
2 ratings because of that.
and so, and another aspect of what makes this game hard for me to rate is uh, how good I know System Shock 2 is compared to
Yeah.
this game. And so, like, I would consider System Shock 2 like a 9.5, and so it's really hard for me to consider this game like an 8.5 or a 9 because System Shock 2 is so much better. So, I think all things considered, I probably would just rate this thing also an 8.5. I think both as like kind of a almost like a fucking time machine back to 1994, like just some of the incredible design ideas that they've had that lasted as long as they have, I think is something that you absolutely cannot besmirch. But even just outside of its legacy, like it's just fucking awesome. Like it's so atmospheric, it's so good at just like pulling you into its fucking gravitational pull and making you experience the story, the atmosphere, the plot. Like even though a lot of the actual story elements are again very thin and kind of I don't know, wishy-washy at best, I think that the game just does such a fucking good job of making you feel the weight of the situation, where you're at and what you're doing. um, I think the only thing that really pushes the thing that pushes this game's rating down the most for me is again the final act of the game. Like everything executive through bridge, um, it just becomes a little bit like too much of a slog. And in a game where the combat is just kind of like ho hum, forcing me to go through as much combat as the end of the game does is a little frustrating to say the least. And also, we never really talked about it, but I think that the ending of this game, both the final boss fight and the actual ending itself, are fucking dreadful. Like, just so fucking bad.
Yeah,
So,
so here's the thing about that. So I give the devs leniency because, like, I put myself in the shoes of the 94 developer, right? And, like, what they had achieved basically, and, like, what it took to achieve that, um, took so much from their skill set that the skill set that involved that part was, I have to give them some leniency. You know what I mean?
I want to
oh
intervene
yeah.
on the last boss is completely different. The last boss in the original 94 game is in cyberspace, and all you do is shoot at a giant cone. So it's
Yeah.
completely new to this game. The ending is
Okay,
basically the same thing, though.
Yeah, the endings are
gotcha.
very, very similar, but yeah, the battle itself is different.
Yeah,
And again,
completely different.
like I mean, I guess it's okay because like obviously the story of this game is very thin, so having an ending that is like as abrupt as this one is, I guess
Oh,
is fine, but yeah.
oh, that was something that was actually disappointing to find out when you told me that those life pods weren't an alternate ending because like it gave me like that I thought it was and it gave me like and actually no, this is actually a good thing because now it's like an idea I can steal for like a future game or future ideas because I thought it would be cool if you
Yeah.
had a game where the alternate ending was like, I don't give a fuck about this. I am out of here.
Yep.
I'm gonna find a way to just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, self-preservation for sure. That's what I thought it was gonna be.
Like,
That's why
like
I
if
was
you
like, this is
can't get
badass.
involved with like the game's main narrative, just give those players an option of
I
an
think that'd be
alternate
great.
ending.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, that's two 8.5s. How about you, Jordan?
Mine's a lot lower because I think the gameplay of the game is so. 1994 and the original game, I think is like a 10 out of 10, like not even close. Like I think it's insane that like it's so much better than something like Doom or anything that's even close to it. 2025, I think it's just like the gameplay to me is like if this game wasn't called System Shock and it had no lineage and it came out in 2023 and that's the first thing we saw it, it would be like, oh, that's a cool indie game. They had some cool ideas, but like really it like fell short. So I think by modern standards, to me, it's only like a 6, and that's mostly carried by like how cool Shodan is and how well they did the world building and stuff like that. And basically like everything that's not the gameplay and the gameplay that's not the pipe stuff, because I actually like the pipe puzzles.
I do too.
But just like the
Actually,
combat and everything, I thought was just so bad and so tedious with the combat, and then the inventory system, like it was just a chore in most of the game.
yeah, I think that's fair. I guess I never mentioned it, but actually, like maybe one of my top three favorite parts of this game was anytime I had to do the pipe puzzles.
Agreed.
I actually loved those.
True.
I
Once
got
I figured them
so
out,
good at them by the end
Yep.
too.
It took me so the first one you run into, it took me like I didn't interact with it, but then when you get to the second one where you plug the shit in and then it basically like solves itself is when I was like, oh, that's how you do these, and then I loved them ever since.
Yeah, so on controller, the onboarding experience is literally impossible. I had so I watched I could not figure out how to do those plug puzzles at all. I had to YouTube it. So when I YouTubed it and I watched like a keyboard and mouse player play, like you can like grab the wire and like move it around and
Yep.
shit, so it's very obvious what you can do with the wire. It
Yep.
does not work like that with the controller. I'm gonna tell you that
That's
right
funny.
now.
That's badass.
So like yeah, it took me a while to figure out how the fuck to like just do the very simple thing of like plugging in the wire on a controller.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think Jordan, I would actually like if I was looking at this game in a vacuum in 2023 when it came out, I would actually agree that this is for I don't even know if this would make a 6 out of 10 game, to be honest. I think that this game would this game would look like shit.
Yeah.
But I absolutely positively factored like the
Yeah.
legacy of the game into my
I mean, the
rating.
1994 one is an
Yeah,
easy
me
10, not
too.
even close.
Yeah,
Not even close.
easily. All right, Seth, take us home.
Yep. Like I said, I have two ratings, kind of like Sesh did. The 2023 game is probably somewhere about 6.5 or a 7 for me. I think some of the friction just worked pretty well for me overall. I had pretty good experience, and it just loses a couple points because of a lot of it, the tedium in the back half of the game. But I think that a game like this that has so much lasting impact through the generations, through the inspirations that it's created in other games, like I said, I fucking love the Bioshock games, and I put those games to fucking shame, in my opinion, looking at it retrospectively. So, look, like the 1994 game, it has to be, like Sesh said, like a 9.5 or a 10. So, I'll just cross those two scores and land in an 8.5, like Thomas and Ben.
That's funny.
That's pretty much how I did it too, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think the legacy of this game just, I mean, it can't be understated, like, or overstated.
Oh yeah.
It's it was crazy to me to play this game like 20 years after the fact, like with the knowledge of like how this game's lineage has shaped like PC gaming like as a whole.
Yeah.
When you told me that the voice reels and shit were in the original game, I was fucking floored. I couldn't believe it.
They're good
Yeah,
too.
because it's so crazy to think about 1994. Like,
Yep.
just thinking about the other games that came out in 94 is just crazy.
Bro, it's a year after Doom, and it feels like it puts Doom to fucking shame.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy to me that the like contemporary criticism of the game is that it wasn't more like Doom.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you want this game to be more like Doom? It's totally different.
I feel like that was every FPS back then, was basically, why am I not playing Doom until like fucking Counter-Strike.
GoldenEye.
Why isn't this game COD? I want to play COD.
Yeah, that's what it is now, basically.
But yeah, you guys want me to spin the wheel? See who's picking next?
Yeah, let's
Better up.
do it so that I can stop having to edit almost 3 hours of audio.
All right, so I got Ben, Jordan, and Seth on here. Click to spin.
Ben one tap.
Ooh. This is Seth. What you got?
Hey. As much as I want to pick Prey, and as much as I want to pick Signalis, not having played it, I want to get some fucking negative ratings in here. You guys are playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, nice.